Let's try and learn all about CoreCLR and why CoreCLR, why this is basically the magic secret weapon of Unity 7. And basically, if you want a quick spoiler alert, so basically CoreCLR, they brings for much faster compilation speed, which leads to much faster iteration speed, which means all the people that constantly complain, oh, Unity takes like 1 minute to compile, all of that is mostly going away, just because of many ways for how CoreCLR works, but essentially that is the main benefit, is all the time you spent waiting for compilation so you can test your game over and over again. Thankfully that time will go down by a massive amount, so that alone will be very much worth the benefit, not to mention all the other nice benefits of Unity 7. But specifically, so what exactly is CoreCLR? I have to say, I myself, I know sort of what it is, but I'm still slightly confused as to what it is. So basically over here, I want to learn a little bit myself, just trying to understand. And I actually found a very interesting diagram, just in case you have literally no idea on how C# works. Here is a very nice diagram. There you go, this one right here. So basically, in case you don't know how C# works, you basically write C# code, but the computer doesn't actually execute C# code directly. No, C# code actually has to go through a bunch of transformations before it can actually be executed by the CPU itself. So you write C# code, normal C# code, then you use the Roslyn compiler, that is what converts the C# code into the IL code, that is the intermediate language, and that is a language that sort of has the .NET sort of intermediate language, as it were. And then that language, that one is still not executable by the CPU itself. So instead, for that one, then you have the CLR, the runtime, the .NET runtime, and that is what actually converts the IL language into actual machine learning, into actual machine code. And that is basically where the difference is between the Mono and the CoreCLR. So this one over here, the CLR runtime plus the JIT, or ahead of time compilation. These two are basically what is the difference between Mono, where previously Unity used Mono, and now they're going to swap for CoreCLR. So it's basically going to be this layer right here. So you still write the same C# code, and the CPU is still going to execute native instructions. So it's basically in the middle that they are basically swapping out this layer and replacing it with something else. Because this way, this one is going to have a lot of benefits, just because Mono by now, it is very much, I'm pretty sure it is no longer supported. Mono no longer supported. Mono was an awesome thing back when Unity stewardship changed, just the open source, yep, just for that one. But yeah, end of standalone update. So yeah, the reason why Unity used Mono as opposed to using .NET itself is because .NET only supported Windows platforms, but Unity wanted to be a multi-platform game engine, so they could not use the .NET runtime because that one only ran on Windows. So you could not use Unity to make games for Mac, make games for Xbox, PlayStation, and so on. So because of that, they used Mono, which was essentially an implementation of the .NET runtime, but meant to work multi-platform, so you could run it on Linux, Mac, literally anything you wanted. So that is why Unity chose them. But over time, Mono basically stopped getting updates, and eventually, Microsoft themselves, instead of working on just supporting Windows itself, they actually created the CoreCLR, or actually I think it started with .NET Core, how they basically made their own runtime work with multiple platforms, not just Windows. So because of that, nowadays there's basically no point in Unity still using Mono. In fact, that is actually a sort of negative on the engine, just because it requires Unity themselves to keep spending engineering resources on keeping Mono up to date, because Microsoft themselves, the official developers, those are no longer working on it. So in order to basically not have all of that insane engineering effort constantly being wasted, instead of that, they basically are moving to CoreCLR, and that way they can basically just piggyback on all the engineering effort that Microsoft themselves are kind of doing on that. So that is kind of the idea on why they're going for all those benefits, basically replacing this layer, which again, like I mentioned in the beginning, is going to have all those benefits of mainly compilation time being insanely faster. It is going to be much better. And over here, they actually made this post. Let me just, yes. They over here made this post where they are basically trying to explain why exactly they did that. Why are they making this change? And it's kind of funny how over here it starts with the "it's happening" meme, because yeah, this is definitely something that people have talked about for literally many years, that people have won. Because another thing about the current .NET implementation of Mono is how it basically locks you into a specific C# version. And right now, I believe Unity C# version, I believe they are on version 9. And yep, there you go. They are currently on C# 9. This is also something that quite a lot of people don't know, is how C# language itself actually has versions. They actually constantly update the version, they constantly add new things to it. And yeah, Unity right now currently supports the C# 9, whereas C# is actually currently on about version 14, I believe. So that is another benefit to swapping to CoreCLR, is all of a sudden when they make that change, they won't suddenly be always on the latest C# version, because again, CoreCLR is made by Microsoft themselves, so they are always on the latest version. So basically right now, if you want to use, let's say, C# 14 version changes, every time this one changes, which adds, for example, new syntax to define extension members. Okay, so right here, public function where. Okay, I definitely don't quite know the syntax, because again, I'm definitely not used to, I don't pay attention to the newer C# version, because again, I know I can't use them. But yeah, basically, in case you don't know, the version itself, the version of the language itself, is constantly changing, constantly improving. I think every single year they make one. Oh, there you go. Apparently they're up to C# 15. Is it out on the preview SDK? Okay, interesting. So yeah, anyway, C# is constantly improving, but Unity, since they are using Mono, they get stuck on that one. So that is going to be yet another benefit of going with CoreCLR. And yet another reason why people have been asking for this for literally years is because people want to use the latest C# features, but they literally can't because you are locked to just C# 9. So now we'll have core behavior and not mono behavior. That would be funny, but no, I'm pretty sure they won't do that, just because, yeah, that would be a massive refactor, renaming everything. It would break so many things. So no, I'm pretty sure that even like 20 years from now, Unity's main class will still be called mono behavior, even though by then there won't be literally no indication, no notice that mono even ever existed. So yeah, that is going to be the only thing. So many years from now, people will be asking, why is it called mono behavior? What is this? And only people that are as old as all of us right now watching this change, only those of us will know, oh, mono is what they used to use, and now they no longer use it. But yeah, they will definitely not rename it, because I imagine that would break so many things. That is quite crazy. Watching learning from 10 Unity course, wishing the best. Oh, best of luck. Awesome. I hope you'll learn quite a lot. That's cool. Want to make all tutorial syntax outdated? No, because there are a handful of things that will change, but for the most part, no. For the most part, again, going back to this diagram right here, you still write C# code the exact same way, so the code is not changing, and for the most part, 99% of the Unity API is not changing. You still have game objects, you still have transforms, so yep, all of this is not changing. The change is only on this layer, which you don't really interact with directly. So for the most part, for Unity developers, there's no change. Just by default, everything will be slightly faster, slightly better, with no effort required on your end. So yes, thankfully, this is one of those things where it basically just, it requires a lot of effort on Unity themselves. But for you as a normal Unity developer, no, thankfully, you don't have to do anything. Just as soon as you install Unity 7, by default, things are just going to be faster. So yeah, that's basically always one of the better updates, is how you can literally not do anything and everything is suddenly faster. That is always a very nice positive. Yeah. You're a big fan. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so it's finally happening. So the release of CoreCLR scripting backend has been a long time coming, years in the making. Having it finally go out the door comes with a swirl of emotions spanning from nervousness to exhilaration, with a pit stop at relief in between. I can't even imagine just how difficult it must have been for, I mean, they basically had to rewrite the entire core of the engine to make this work, to basically replace that entire part, put that. That is great. It is literally like as if you have an entire car that works and you want to keep it working and just literally replace the engine with something else. That is a massive workload. So yeah, I can't imagine how difficult it must have been to be constantly working on this. So yeah, that is quite crazy. Hey John, thank you so much. Contribution to the car, but don't die. Have a good stream. No, don't worry, I won't die. No. And I do have a car. I basically just use a bike just because, yeah, traffic in Lisbon gets quite crazy, especially when I want to get into and out of Lisbon during rush hour. So for that, yeah, a bike, it is infinitely better. Because yeah, literally by car, if I try to get into Lisbon at like 8 p.m., it takes me like 50 minutes, whereas by bike, it takes me like 20 minutes. And that's not because the bike moves faster, just because I don't get stuck on an insane amount of traffic. So yeah, so I do have a car. I love my car. My car is awesome. And lately, since I don't have my bike, I've been using my car. But yeah, the bike is just so useful just to get rid of all of that insane traffic. Yeah, that is crazy. So, but yeah, don't worry. I won't die. No, I won't die. Transitioning the entire engine from Mono to CoreCLR was a massive, sprawling, and technically complicated task that involved pretty much every engineer who works on the Unity engine. At this point, I know I share this feeling with many of you. It is finally happening. That is crazy. That is impressive. So in the brief respite between the initial release and I've back in to continue to improve the engine, it's worth taking a step back. It's pointed out to me that it would be nice to have a series of educational blog posts discussing some of the more interesting problems we solved and how we solved them. In spirit of education, and because developers generally enjoy telling war stories about a difficult problem they beat, the deep dive technical blog posts are also happening. Okay, that's definitely going to be nice. So I hope this is the first one of many. This one came out just 7 days ago. So yeah, I imagine they won't continue working on this. Yeah. So the first one's about the problem itself, why mono had to go, what CoreCLR gives us, and why swapping CoreCLR turned into years of work. Since this is an introduction series, I'll do my best to establish the setting without getting too deep into the weeds. In the following posts, our developers will be performing deeper technical dives into their respective topics. All right, so yeah, that is awesome. That is, again, I think it really is a benefit if people understand why this is such a big, important change, because it's definitely not a flashy change. It is not something like, I mean, it's always fun when game engines do updates, when it's like a brand new visual tool and you can instantly see, oh wow, this looks so much better. That is so cool. But this one, sadly, it is not a very marketable change. You can't really say, oh, your compilation is faster. That is awesome. That is cool, but it's not really visible. It's not really... doesn't really have much showmanship. So yeah, I guess it's great that they are making these kinds of blog posts trying to explain, hey, this is really important. It might not be a super sexy change, but it generally is quite good. So yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this because yeah, I definitely want to see all these posts. And yeah, this one explaining things should be quite fun. Yeah. I try to ask myself if anything would change in terms of program CoreCLR implement. Oh, great. Well, there you go. Thankfully, yeah, no changes. So yeah, you still write the code just the same. What type of car do you have? I have a Renault 5. It is quite nice. Very cool. I finally changed. I had a Renault Clio for the past like 10 years, and I finally changed it last year, and it was quite nice. And my bike is a Silence SO1. It's also a very nice bike. It's basically a basic scooter, electric engine. It's quite nice, quite fun. So yeah, quite like it, yeah. And ECS, and ECS for all. That is awesome. Yeah, that is another awesome benefit of Unity 7. That one's going to be quite good. And yes, Unity's goals for this year, they do seem quite good. So yes, I guess we shall see. Stream is lagging, is it? Doesn't seem like it has dropped frames, so I hope it's nothing on my end. Because everything seems good, I think. Okay, let's hope everything is good. All right. So yeah, so basically the mono runtime. So as many of you know, the crux of the entire effort has been to sunset the mono runtime. It's gotten old, frail, and frankly, many of our users have outgrown its once substantial capabilities. Before moving on to all of Mono's weaknesses though, I want to bend your ear for a moment to reminisce of how important Mono has been to Unity. Again, so what I was saying a while ago, Mono has definitely been very important. Without Mono, you would not have Unity literally exist, basically, because without Mono, Unity would be just a Windows engine. And part of the reason why Unity became so insanely successful and why it became so popular was because it literally was one of the first few multi-platform engines. You could make game in Unity, and you could make games for Steam, PC, sure. You could also make a Linux build, you could make a Mac build, and importantly, you could make mobile builds. You could make a build for Android, a build for iOS, and yeah, that is what basically exploded Unity out of proportion. So yes, all of that happened because of Mono. If it was just Unity, just for Windows, it definitely never would have gotten as popular as it is today. So yeah, Unity definitely owes quite a lot to Mono, so it's nice that even though they are moving on from it, it's nice that they recognize, oh, just how good that one actually was and why it helped them out so much, yeah. And today, something needs to take all that C# that we write and turn it into something that our computers can execute. For Unity's case, we currently have 4 options to make this happen. So you've got Mono, IL to CPP, Burst, and now CoreCLR. Back in the day, we only had Mono. It was chosen for several reasons. So first, could be run embedded within a native application. It is somewhat odd to think about that since all of our user code is written in C#, but Unity is essentially a native application written in C++. This is also something that a lot of people don't know, is how Unity themselves, the core of the engine, is actually written in C++. So it's a fascinating piece of engineering in that they made it C# for the users in order to make them easier to make games, because C# in general is an easier language to work with than C++. But for performance, you still can't beat C++. So for performance, the core of the engine works in that one, but then they use a more user-friendly language for the engine's users themselves. So yeah, that combination is really awesome. Gives you performance whilst usability. So again, one of the things that made Unity basically what it is, yeah. skipped all my messages. Sorry, I'm trying to trying to read and read at the same time. So yeah, I missed a few. Yeah, let's see. Sharp feature is going to be a dream come true. Nice. Yeah, there are definitely a few that are quite nice. I remember, I think it's when I was using anonymous types when I was making that lecture on my C# course. I think it was that one, the anonymous types, where it had something that didn't quite.
Wow.
Didn't quite work out with that version. I think that was it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was it. Which anonymous types, that is a very fascinating thing. It's over here. Yeah, there you go. Anonymous types or tuples. It was one of these that are quite fascinating. So yeah, you probably know how to use normal types, but do you know you can use this? Honestly, I still never quite use this just because, yeah, it's a very strange kind of syntax. I still haven't quite gotten used to it, but it is quite fascinating. Anonymous types, tuples, yep, that is definitely something that is very, very useful. You can literally define a type just like this, just define whatever fields you want, whatever they you want, and there you go. You've got a custom anonymous type created at runtime. That is so interesting, or not at runtime, but in the code itself. That is so interesting, so cool. And again, this is a relatively recent, so anonymous type C# version. I'm pretty sure this one. Oh, really? Wait, really? No. Is it from? I think it's something about lambdas. I'm pretty sure anonymous types were not in C# 3. Am I wrong? Okay, maybe. Foundational feature for a link. Really? Okay, so maybe I'm confusing it with something else because I'm pretty sure that the one that I'm remembering is much recent. So, okay, but yeah. Awesome feature, and again, yeah, so basically as they upgrade their C# version, you won't be able to use so many more things, so yeah, that is going to be quite nice. Oh, hey, Goma, hey, how's it going? Nice. Compiled Terrain recognized my coding cell was like code my, oh, really? Awesome, oh, that's cool. That is nice, so that is coul, yeah. Felt terrible at first, as I was used to Unreal's opinionated way of structuring things. Nowadays, I feel glad I ditched Unreal because what I usually do is just small toy simulators and projects. Yeah, I mean, every single engine has their own opinions, their own ways of doing things. So yeah, if you go from one engine to another one, you're always going to notice that. But yeah, for the most part, again, I always say how nowadays as developers, we are basically blessed just because every single engine is awesome. You can't really go wrong. If you go with Unity or Unreal, with Godot, with GameMaker, literally any engine you want, Bevy, basically every engine is excellent nowadays. So yeah, we as developers are basically spoiled for choice. So that is really awesome. Yeah. So secondly, Mono is also cross-platform. Again, awesome. Microsoft's .NET Framework C# runtime in the beginning was Windows only, whereas Mono could run on every operating system where Unity wanted to be. Again, that is part of the reason why Unity was so successful. And yeah, that reason is very much thanks to Mono. So yeah, even though we're saying goodbye to Mono, we still have to respect basically what Mono did for Unity. And it is awesome that they are basically kind of paying their respect. So yeah, this blog post is kind of a funeral, kind of a wake for Mono. But yeah, I think it's nice to pay respect to everything Mono did. Yeah, respect the legacy. Yeah, that is kind of that. Thirdly, Mono supported .NET Framework's app domain capability. Okay, I gotta say, I don't quite know what that is. So it's crucial to Unity's signature feature of iterating on code without needing to build and launch a separate player over and over. Okay. Well, enter-exit play mode would eventually become the sort of much pain. Yep. It was a huge boon to our users for many years. The ability of Mono to tear down an app domain, load, and re-JIT an updated one for use in the same runtime was a huge advantage. Oh, interesting. So is Mono the reason why you don't have to literally recompile your game? You can just press play and press quit on Unity? Oh, interesting. I didn't actually know that was that was part of what made Mono interesting. Because yeah, it would definitely be much harder if every time you wanted to test your game, you had to literally compile, then run the executable, test, quit, go edit the code again, recompile. Oh boy, that would be quite messed up. So yeah, okay. I did not know that was specifically due to Mono. That is nice. Finally, Mono used a, oh boy, Bohm Demersweiser? I don't know. As its garbage collector, casually referred to as Bohm or BDWGC. It is a conservative, non-moving collector. Oh, okay, so I've read about this. The first two of these properties matter to Unity in their own way. A conservative GC assumes that any pointer-sized value, managed or native, could be a live reference to an object. This allows Unity C++ code to manipulate managed objects without needing to register everything with the GC. Okay. What I've heard is that basically this one is due to it not being a non-moving collector. I've heard this one is part of the reason why this change of going from mono to CoreCLR is so difficult, because the core of the engine, the C++ part of Unity, that one basically assumes this. It was built on this assumption, the assumption that the garbage collector is not going to move things, whereas CoreCLR, by default, that one is going to move things. So if you got an object here, an object here, or an object here, another object here, so you got 3 objects, and if you remove the middle one, right now, you basically keep empty space in memory, which means Unity can assume, okay, this object still exists on this location, this one still exists on this location. Whereas now, as soon as you switch into CoreCLR, that one starts moving memory. So all of a sudden, once you remove the one in the middle, this one is going to be relocated here. So if the Unity C++ code assumes this object is still here, all of a sudden it is going to be all messed up. Nothing is going to work. So that is part of the reason why it was very difficult to make this change. So yes, it does not surprise me why it took them years. So again, it is awesome how that years-long journey, odyssey, is finally coming to an end. So yeah, that is quite good, yeah. Boom, with cells can find them. A non-moving GC is one that, once it allocates an object, doesn't relocate it in the heap. That was extremely useful because it allowed significant portions of Unity's native code to assume that an object would stay in memory until its death. It significantly reduced the amount of bookkeeping that needed to be done under the hood. Yep, so again, changing that very core assumption, oh boy, I can't even imagine how much of the engine they had to change, but definitely quite a lot, yeah. We do next first stream for your followers who join the fest. Oh, maybe. When is the next one? In October? Yeah, maybe. That's in like, wait, October is still 2 months away or 3 months away. Yeah, maybe. That could be fun, yeah. Tell me, what is mono behavior in Unity? What is happening in C# programming language? Again, the note for developers, nothing changes. So yeah, C# is still C#. So on your end, you don't have to change anything. It is basically just modifying, again, over here, you've got this layer. This is how code actually executes. And the C# that you write is right up here. And what they are changing is basically these 2 layers down here. So essentially, your C# code up here, that one does not have to change. Everything is still exactly the same. So yes. So mono behavior is not changing. It is still going to be named mono behavior, even though technically in the background, it is no longer going to be using mono. Mono aging gracefully. It all had to come to an end eventually. Technology moved on, games grew more advanced and more demanding of the engines they were built on. Mono was a little engine that could, for years, until IL2CPP came along and supplied a life raft to the performance and platform support issues that were already appearing. That is interesting. I gotta say, I haven't really used IL2CPP too much. From what I understand, it is mostly used in mobile, so that is why I haven't really used it, just because I make PC sim games. So, but yeah, that is a very interesting piece of technology. How it, from what I understand, basically it comes back to this. So you've got the C# code, but then, yeah, I believe it's basically over here. So you still convert into the intermediate language, but then it's over here that the IL2CPP basically converts the IL, as it were, into C++, and that converts it into native machine code, which then executes. So yeah, basically replace this layer as well. And yeah, it's for consoles as well. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I do know that it's the difference between right here, JIT or AOT, so just in time or ahead of time compilation. I know that is the difference. And yeah, I guess consoles, they require ahead of time compilation. So yeah, it's all those security things. So yeah, IL2CPP, they created that. And from what I understand, I mean, what they mentioned up here is how that one, it will still exist. Yeah, still mono, IL2CPP, burst, and CoreCLR. So apparently, well, mono is going away, but those 3 will continue to exist. So I guess we shall see on that one, yeah. Wait, so non-moving collector just fragment the memory. Yep. Does it ever run a compactifying pass with moves to make the memory contiguous? I don't think so. I think intentionally doesn't do it. Again, intentionally, so you can keep that assumption of an object in memory still stays in this location in memory, so you can make all kinds of assumptions to benefit from that. But yeah, you are definitely right. How having gaps in memory, that fragmentation is part of what makes things slow, which again is part of what makes CoreCLR much faster, is because it spends that time reorganizing memory so that things are always nice and compact, so things by default are quite a bit faster. But again, in order to benefit from that, they need all that re-architecturing of the core of the engine to make sure that that the engine is built without having the assumption that things don't move, because things will now actually move. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. There are several points in history that I could potentially point as the last straw that prompted the move to CoreCLR. I'm going to personally pick Microsoft acquired Xamarin in 2016, becoming Mono Steward. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't actually know. So Xamarin owned Mono or held Mono? Oh, is that the case? Oh, okay. I knew Microsoft acquired them, but I didn't know they had anything to do with Mono. Okay. A few years later, when Mono was retargeted as an alternative runtime for .NET 5 and moved into the runtime repository, it had to conform to .NET Core's API surface, which has no multiple domain support. Oh, interesting. If domains had been rolled out of .NET Core years earlier, Legacy Mono kept them to the end, but the writing was on the wall. The feature Unity had built, Play Mode, had no feature in the runtime everyone else was moving to. Oh, interesting. Okay. Again, I didn't know about any of this. So yeah, that's a very, very interesting post. Yeah. Let's say there weren't any other chinks in the armor that helped things along. Boom, the garbage collector that had many attributes that made Unity want to select Mono in the first place also suffered from the weakness of its chosen design. Again, the whole thing of ending up with a bunch of gaps. Yeah. Conservative, non-moving nature meant that for long-lived processes, the allocated heap would become fragmented, of course, leading to large memory footprints that were considerable portions were effectively unused. So yeah, definitely leading to quite a lot of gaps. So again, the benefits of going from this to this, that is awesome. That is very, and from what I understand, the garbage collector is actually faster. So it ends up with more compact memory. So the code itself should run faster. But also the garbage collection itself, that one, as far as I understand, that one is also faster. So yeah, just awesome benefits after benefits. Mono's JIT, impressive for its extensibility and compilation speed, simply could not keep pace with CoreCLR's RyuJIT. Is that the name? RyuJIT. Okay. Additionally, any fixes made to Mono's JIT in the upstream repository required significant efforts to backport to Unity's fork. Again, that's another thing that people don't quite know, which is how, so you've got Mono, and that is, as far as I know, Mono is actually open source, but Unity does not use Mono itself. Unity actually forked their own version of Mono, and that is the one they have been supporting for the past few years. And yeah, basically anytime something changes, they constantly have to, again, spend a lot more engineering effort on keeping that one up to date. And yeah, Mono had officially become tech debt by every definition of the term. Oh boy, that's rough. When technology that you build your whole business, your whole engine around, something that used to be an extreme positive all of a sudden becomes tech debt that is basically an albatross along your neck. So yeah, that is not nice, but yeah, that is why thankfully they are moving on from that. Yeah. With the end of official support for Mono, that's left its C# API service limited to .NET Framework 4.7 plus .NET Standard 2.1. Yep, that's where Unity has been stuck in. The latter being extremely important because it is what provided the bridge that needed to be crossed to transition all of our C# code from Mono to CoreCLR. Yep. And now importantly, what CoreCLR actually gives us, so here are the benefits. CoreCLR, so the modern and supported C# runtime provided by Microsoft today, is a significant step forward in time. Literally, we are leaving the era of effectively abandoned 2019 technology and leaping forward in time to .NET 10. That is crazy, yeah. Because yeah, Unity has effectively been stuck with technology of many, many years ago just because they were stuck with Mono. So yeah, this upgrade is definitely, that is why Unity 7 is one of the biggest version changes that has happened for a very, very long time, because yeah, it is definitely very significant. Now again, goes back to what I was saying a while ago, which is how it kind of sucks how it's not a visual change, it's not a sexy change. I mean, no video is going to get 10 million views by saying Unity's moving to CoreCLR. No, so it kind of sucks how something can be so important but so unsexy that people don't, that it's very hard to market visually, because yeah, if you show a game with like 1,000 polygons and one with 1,000,000, you can see, oh wow, that's a massive difference. But if you show a game using Mono, a game using CoreCLR, you can't quite tell it. So yeah, that's sadly, this is one of the biggest things Unity has done and will do. But sadly, it is very hard to explain just how important this is. But yeah, I guess that just goes with territory. If you want to modify something that is core to the architecture of the engine, you just have to accept, okay, it's not going to be a flashy new thing, but we know it's important, so let's basically work on that one. Let's resist upgrading my project. I do wonder, will upgrades be, again, since this doesn't really change your C# code, hopefully the upgrades will actually be pretty painless, pretty straightforward. So yes, I guess we shall see. But yeah, they did mention how Unity 7 is very much based on Unity 6. So yeah, if you got a project in Unity 6, moving to Unity 7 should hopefully be a pretty painless process. At least for me, the projects that I have converted from like Unity 6.0 to 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, and so on, that has gone actually pretty well. I don't think I've had literally any single issue. So yeah, basically, because that, I'm hopeful that the transition to Unity 7 should also be a pretty nice one. Yeah. Being more memory efficient is great in today's computer market. Oh yeah. I guess considering the cost of memory, then yes, having your games be more efficient in terms of memory, that should be very important. Yeah, you can get crazy games with CoreCLR plus ECS for all. Oh yeah, that is going to be quite awesome. Oh hey Fuad, how's it going? Hey, nice. Thanks for being here on Twitch. How is Twitch doing? Is it working? It is working with 2 viewers. Nice. It is fun. Yeah. Nope. There you go. Unity's DevOps role. Oh, awesome. They're hiring. Oh, that's cool. Nice. That was very nice. All right. So modern GC, garbage collector. So arguably the biggest game changer is CoreCLR's garbage collector, which is a precise generational compacting garbage collector. A precise GC knows exactly where all managed allocates can be stored. This is what allows it to move and compact the GC heap. The catch here is that a precise GC only knows about managed allocations, leaving native objects invisible to it. Okay. Keep that in mind because it comes back to bite us later in this post. Oh, really? Okay, so that one only moves managed allocations. So native objects, so like C++ objects, those are invisible to it. Okay. Generally, GC is roughly one that separates allocations by how old they are. Oh, nice. The general idea being that the longer an object lives, the more likely it is to be a long-lived object, and less that the GC needs to check on it to see if it needs to be freed. Oh, that's very clever. That's very clever. I mean, in theory, it does make sense, because most objects, if they are going to die, they're probably going to die very quickly. They spawn and die, like a particle effect, spawns and dies. But if you got like a player, the player is probably going to live throughout the entire game session. So yeah, player's probably not going to, if it lives for like 5 minutes, chances are it's not going to die in the next 5 seconds. Yeah, that is a very interesting strategy. Nice. This allows the GC to not have to scan the entire managed heap on every marking pass. More about CLR generational GC can be found here. Interesting. Is this like a Microsoft's own learn thing on how generations works? That is cool. Survival and promotions, ephemeral generations. Oh, that is quite a big article. Nice. So basically, yeah, Gen 0 short-lived, the survivors, and the long-lived. Oh, interesting. So you get promoted once you survive for enough time. That's cool. I guess for C# objects, it's kind of like a survival game. If you survive enough, you get promoted into Gen 1, you are a survivor. If you survive even longer, you get promoted into the long-lived generation. So that should be fun. Nice. Apparently, Godot use CoreCLR. Wait, does it? Does it? That's interesting. Actually, no, because Godot does have C#, but that means you use CoreCLR. Oh, interesting. So yeah, that's the state of C# support. Okay, supports both Mono and CoreCLR. Okay, I did not know that. That is interesting. Again, I've heard that C# and Godot is a little bit fiddly. Technically it works, but it's a little bit fiddly, so I haven't quite heard too much of it. But yeah, that is okay, nice to know. So they're already using CoreCLR. That is very cool, yeah. It's a Twitch stream. I'm also on Twitch, yes. Basically streaming to both, just in case. Basically, whatever people want to watch, sure, for me, it's the same thing for me, so it doesn't bother me. Even though the little overlay that I have only works on this, so if people put like bits or subs on Twitch, it is not going to at least show anything, so yeah. But either way, that hasn't quite happened, so not an issue. After the latest review on the Star Orcs game, I want to try to make a new small game with that production plan in mind. Okay. I guess I will start with my friend by brainstorming and prototyping. I wonder how much time the prototyping idea finding stage will take. I mean, again, remember how for prototyping you don't have to have it actually exist. You just have to sell the vision of the game. So when you nowadays, if you want to find success, when you think of prototyping, don't think of trying to make a literal prototype in the sense of the word where you basically build all the systems. No, nowadays a prototype is literally just a short. That is what it is. So basically, if you want to prototype games, you should really be building shorts that you can put on YouTube, TikTok, and so on, that basically just sells the vision of what the game is going to be like. That is really the important part, because that is how you can actually validate your ideas. So you don't have to have the prototype. In the classical sense, a prototype means code. It means things that actually work with no visuals. Whereas nowadays, if you want to find success, you need more of a visual prototype. So you basically just get the visuals, just get enough to sell the vision of the game, even if there's really no code, no system behind it, nothing whatsoever. So yes, so in that sense, as to how much time that will take, I guess it depends on how good you are as a visual designer sort of thing, which honestly, to me, it kind of sucks just because I'm very much a programmer. So I'm very good at building code prototypes, but nowadays, suddenly that is not the best skill. Nowadays, what you want is to make visual prototypes. So yes, that part is indeed quite tricky. But yeah, if you are good at visual design, hopefully it doesn't take you too long to make a nice little visual prototype. So yes, I would say at most you spend like 1 week on each idea. So in 1 month you can test out 4, maybe 10 different ideas. So yeah, if you test out all of those, then yeah, hopefully you can see, okay, all of these got 100 views, but this one got 10K views. Okay, this is definitely the one that we should be working towards, yeah. And Malashi, subscribe with Prime, awesome. So yeah, I literally just joined the Twitch, just hit the enough viewers or whatever it is to hit the Twitch affiliate literally like two days ago. Thank you, nice. Again, I'm definitely not too used to Twitch, neither as a streamer nor as a viewer. So yeah, this is all new to me, but yeah, thank you. That is fun, that is cool. That makes it so much clearer, thanks. And what do you think about posting on social? Should I create one account and post multiple different shorts from different prototypes, or have different accounts for each? That is a very good question. Oh boy, honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer. That is a very good question. My initial reaction is you post them all on the same one until you see which one hits it off, and then you create an individual account just for that one. That would be my initial reaction. But again, the algorithms, especially like the TikTok algorithm, that one is very much based on organizing the audience based on things that you post. So if you post a prototype for something that is like a visual novel, and then post a prototype for something that is a simulation game, then post a prototype for something that is a Vampire Survivors like, I think that might confuse the algorithm and might actually harm your results with your prototypes. So honestly, I don't know. But on the other hand, if you make a brand new account every single time, first of all, I don't know if that's against the rules. If one person can literally create 10 accounts, is that doable and valid? I don't know. But assuming it is not against their... Oh boy, that is a very tricky question. I guess maybe just using logic, I guess maybe if it is not against their terms of service, then maybe different accounts might be the better option. Because in theory, the way TikTok algorithms, the way the TikTok algorithm works specifically is how it tends to boost views on brand new accounts. So in theory, if you make a brand new account for every single prototype, in theory, that might give you a little bit more of a boost as opposed to just placing them all on one. So yeah, again, I really don't know the answer 100%. So yeah, definitely do let me know how it goes, because yeah, I would be curious. What is the best way to test ideas? Yeah, different accounts. Assuming it's not against the terms of service, that might actually be good. Nice, yeah. Just watch on YouTube, but the Twitch Prime sub. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the very first subscriber, Twitch Prime subscriber of any kind. So yeah, awesome. Thank you. That is fun. Learn dots, but seeing the syntax in your tutorial gave me imposter syndrome. Yes, dots in the beginning does look quite intimidating. It is definitely very different from anything else you might know, but the benefits are definitely worth it. So as long as you are past the beginner stage, I definitely recommend you learn a little bit about dots, because whilst it does seem very intimidating, the benefits are insane. You can literally run the same code 200 times faster. That is nothing to, disregard just like that. So yes, I definitely don't recommend for beginners, but as long as you are at least on the intermediate stage, it is definitely a very powerful tool that you should have, is helpful to have in your tool belt. So when you come across all kinds of issues with performance, oh, I have this very specific tool that is very good for this specific purpose. So yep, I'm going to use it and build something quite awesome. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, compacting GC is one that will move surviving objects in memory, preventing memory fragmentation I mentioned earlier. Oh yeah, modern JIT. So Ryu JIT. Is it Ryu? I don't know. brings tiered compilation to the Unity landscape along with intrinsic support. Unlike Mono's JIT, covers both fast compilation and optimized output, which is where the performance gains already being touted with CoreCLR player come from. Okay, it is definitely going to be very interesting to see comparisons of, because the CoreCLR change, that one applies both to the editor, which again has those benefits that I mentioned about being much faster to iterate, much faster to compile and all that. So it has those benefits, but you also use CoreCLR on the actual builds themselves. And it will be very interesting to see performance comparisons, literally just swapping out the runtime. Are games going to run 5% faster, 10% faster, 20% faster? I mean, again, it's one of those things where you as developer, you don't have to worry about it. You just make your game and all of a sudden things are hopefully a little bit faster. So even if it is just like 10% faster, it's free, faster performance improvement. So yeah, by all means, always, always take in free performance. That is always a positive thing. A modern C# API surface. Oh yeah, Microsoft's .NET team has not been sitting around during Unity's journey with Mono. They've been making performance improvements, adding new performant APIs, system text JSON, and we won't be getting these by default through the transition to CoreCLR. So yep, this is another great benefit, is how all of a sudden Unity will go from being like 5 years behind the C# version to being always 100% up to date. So yeah, that will be also a very good bonus, yeah. Better diagnostics. CoreCLR brings proper mixed mode debugging that is supported natively by standard. Okay, I'm not sure what is mixed mode debugging. Okay, .NET debuggers. That is supported natively by standard .NET debuggers. Modern profilers can be used in the entire .NET trace, .NET counters, .NET dump can be used instead of Mono's custom tooling. Okay. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what exactly this means, just because, yeah, for me personally, I never quite got too used to using debugger. So for me, when it comes to debugging, fixing bugs, for me, I really just got used to using logs, and I'm pretty good at using logs, so I never quite feel that I need to use debugger. So in my entire, like, 20-career journey, 20-career industry, I think I've used debugger 3 times, maybe, yeah. So I really haven't used it. I'm very good at debugging using just logs, so yes, I have no idea what this is, but it sounds nice, sounds good, so yeah, another nice benefit, yeah. Active upstream support. Microsoft is still actively working on and improving its implementation of C#. Oh yeah, when Unity updates the latest version from upstream, we get all this without significant internal investment, which again, this part right here, internal investment, or rather significant internal investment, I think this is going to be yet another great benefit of CoreCLR, something that a lot of people are not quite seeing, which is, so for the past few years, Unity has needed to have, I'm assuming, a pretty sizable team of very skilled engineers that are just tasked with just keeping Mono alive. That has been their whole task, just make sure that the engine still works, still runs. And now in the future, once we move into CoreCLR, all of that engineering work is going to be handled by Microsoft themselves, which means all these very intelligent, very capable engineers that work inside Unity, all of a sudden they won't be free to work on other things directly inside Unity. So I think that will lead to a lot of better engineering, faster feature creation for the entirety of Unity, for every single package. Yeah, I have no idea what they will do with those specific engineers, but I imagine they will put them along all kinds of different teams, and those teams will be able to produce, hopefully, higher quality packages and much faster. So yeah, that would be quite interesting, yeah. Planning on doing new ECS videos. I struggle a bit with converting gameplay concept to components and systems. I mean, thankfully, the last, like my dots course, the one that I made, that one was made when ECS actually hit 1.0. So, I don't know, every once in a while, I check like the changelog of entities, and things haven't really changed. So, essentially, this video right here, this course, this one should still be, I would say, like 95% up to date. So yes, if you want to learn, oh boy, the ads, that is why I have premium. Anyways, so yeah, this one right here, this one should still be very much 95% up to date. So if you want to learn about dots or ECS, yeah, definitely recommend you follow this one, because again, since I made this after 1.0, things haven't really changed way too much. Yeah. Reply dots, I only make 2D games. I thought optimization is always with rendering. Not the core C# code unless you're doing extremely heavy computation. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, if you're making simple 2D games, yeah, you don't need dots. But if you're making games, again, like the game we were talking about a while ago, sir, we have an orc problem. So here you've got a 2D game. This one is actually not using dots. This one is a Godot game. But this is a game with literally thousands of units. So yeah, if you want to make a game on this scale, even though this is 2D, yeah, for this scale, you definitely do need dots. Making this scale with all of these being game objects, that would not run. The game would run at like 1 FPS. So if you want to make a game on this scale, even though it is 2D, yes, dots, ECS is actually quite useful for that. So yes, definitely go. So if you want to make 2D games, if it is on a quote-unquote normal scale, yeah, you don't need dots. But if you want to make something kind of like this, then yeah, dots actually becomes quite useful, yeah. Okay, so just swap CoreCLR in. So finally, I've gotten to why I've titled this post The Problem. You were probably thinking that I was referring to Mono, and I was, but not entirely. Okay. Transitioning Unity to a new scripting backend conceptually sounds easy, right? We already did it once when we brought out the CPP online. Just drop in CoreCLR, rename a few DLL loads, and everything's good. No, yeah, I definitely would not assume that it's like that. I assume it's been much more difficult. Oh, yeah. Limited embedding API. It can be hosted. It started life as Silverlight. Oh, Silverlight. It's been a long time since I heard that name. This was like Microsoft's reaction to Flash. They were trying to fight Flash with Silverlight. I remember back in the day, I was playing a game called Darkfall, and there was like an interactive map that ran in the browser that used this. That was literally the only application that I ever seen made with this thing. But yeah, it was basically their answer to Flash. So like web-based runtime. So yeah, very interesting. But why? This is a very, very long time ago. This one, when did this one happen? It was a plugin for browsers created by Microsoft to execute applications rich on the web and multimedia. Yeah, so basically trying to compete with Flash. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, support officially ended in 2021. Oh, so it actually lived much longer than I thought. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, Silverlight, wow, that was something, yeah. But its hosting API was narrow in scope. Mono's embedding API gave us the keys to the kingdom, and we've come to expect that level of access. Oh, so CoreCLR is much more limited. Okay. We need to restore that access by creating our own embedding layer. Ooh, that sounds like a very difficult challenge. GC moves things now. Oh yeah, again, this is what I was saying, that I imagine this is probably the biggest challenge, yeah. CoreCLR brings along with its awesome, efficient garbage collector. That's great. Now remember how I mentioned a significant amount of Unity's engine code was written on the assumption that managed objects would not move in memory. Yep, that's a problem. Yep, this is always the thing. When you make the assumption on some kind of thing, and all of a sudden, years later, that assumption is no longer correct, oh boy, that requires quite a lot of refactoring. That is very, very tricky. So yeah, I imagine this was probably the biggest engineering challenge. Yeah, I definitely do not envy the team that had to work on this, because this would have been quite difficult. Yeah. What if you simply aim for a simulation game? What do you think? If we're talking about dots, again, as long as the simulation is not thousands of units, then yeah, you don't need it. But if it is thousands of units, then you do need it. Hey, APDev, how are you doing? I'm doing great, thank you. Huh. Oh, thank you for following. CodeMake's friend. Oh, that's a fun name. Unity getting something like Lumen, lighting such a hassle with Unity, and the results were still bad. Yeah. Thankfully, they are working on, what did they call it? Oh boy, now I forgot the name. It's not subsurface. What do they call it? Oh boy, let me find the blog post. Oh, now I'm getting a brain freeze. What do they call it? The new global illumination thing, which is named Surface Cache GI. Again, Unity definitely needs Unity definitely needs better marketing people for these kinds of tools. I mean, with Unreal, you've got things like Lumen, Nanite. Those sound very sci-fi, very cool, very awesome. But then Unity, you name something super awesome, something that is literally the same as Lumen, but you name it Surface Cache GI. I mean, it's a very technically accurate name. I assume it's doing Surface Cache, global illumination, that kind of thing, but that is not a marketable name. That is not it's not a sexy name. Nobody's going to pick Unity because they've got Surface Cache GI. But Unreal, people are definitely going to they definitely made a ton of videos saying, oh, Unreal's Lumen, that is so awesome, so cool. So, oh boy, yeah. Unity themselves, they definitely do need better marketing for their packages, their tools. Yeah, because nobody's going to make a video that gets 1 million views on Surface Cache GI But yeah, if you search for Unreal's Lumen, you will definitely find videos with millions of views, just because it is much more marketable, much more sexy, much more something. So yeah, those Lumen, yeah, those things, yeah, they definitely do need that. Hey. Boa tarde, não sabia você streamar no Twitch. Oh, abraço, obrigado, nice. Yeah, just recently started doing a few more live streams, and might as well stream on multiple places. So yeah, and thank you for the Prime sub. Again, I still don't quite know what exactly that means, but apparently, yeah, nice. Thank you. What is this? 0 bits, infinite channel points. Okay. Again, I really gotta study Twitch because I'm definitely not used to Twitch, neither as a viewer, not as a streamer. So yeah, I gotta learn how this whole thing works. Lumen has very good rep for developers at least. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It is some, and I would say not just for developers, but rather for players. That's what I'm saying. In terms of marketing, Unreal is definitely much better at marketing their features. Because again, Surface Cache GI, this one is basically Lumen. You've got real-time global illumination and looks generally so good, but again, that is not a marketable name. That is not a sexy name. So no. Whereas Lumen, yeah, that is good. That is nice. So yeah, I do wonder if Unreal, if they themselves have like an actual marketing team dedicated to just marketing packages, features, and Unity does not have. Unity just has engineers working on packages, and they come up with names, and they do that. And I say that as I'm myself someone who's primarily an engineer programmer. Yeah, my initial reaction to names is always come up with a very descriptive name. But since I'm also a content creator, because that I know what kinds of names get clicks, so nowadays my brain's sort of half and half. I have the engineering brain that whenever I write something, I just write a very descriptive name. But I have the content creator brain that's like, okay, that name is clearly not marketable, not sexy. No, I got to come up with a different name for that. So yeah, thanks to me having those names, that is how I can look at Lumen and be like, okay, that's an awesome name. And look at Surface Cache GI and look at, that is not a marketable name. So, but yeah, it's important how names actually matter quite a bit, yeah. Donation thing, get a few cents that you can withdraw after reaching 50 bucks. Oh, that's fun. Nice. Both subs and bits. That is cool. Thank you. Bits are paid donations as well, but in Twitch's currency. Oh. Oh, right. So I guess bits are kind of like super chats. And they got different amounts, I assume. Bits or channel point. Okay. Anyways, that's okay. And Prime subs and subs at Twitch are paid by subscribers based on supporting. That's nice. That is cool. So yeah. It's interesting to see the different platforms and how they all have their own things, like YouTube's own live things. Yeah, that one already is quite interesting. Surface Cache GI doesn't work with reflections. Lumen does. Doesn't it? I mean, well, okay. On the video, they did showcase reflections, but the reflections they showcased were using screen space reflection. So do you mean by that Lumen has like the Lumen essentially takes in lighting information from reflections where Surface Cache GI doesn't? Is that it? Okay. I definitely want to look into that because that one is quite interesting. Okay, Hype Train. Okay, again, I also don't know what that is. Okay, I'm getting a little bit distracted. Okay, thanks so much, and yeah, let's go. So play mode lost its foundation. Ooh, that's rough. Updomains, the C# feature that Unity-based play mode on, does not exist in CoreCLR. We need to find another solution, and removing play mode from the editor wasn't really an option. No, of course not. Oh boy, imagine that. Removing that one, that would not work. Our profiling tooling was built on Mono. Unity's excellent internal profiling tooling relies heavily on Mono's native embedding APIs. Many of them being ones that we've added ourselves to in our fork of Mono. All of that had to be built again for CoreCLR. Oh boy, wow. Again, looking at this list, it is very easy to see why CoreCLR took literally years to make. So yeah, that is... Again, I'm amazed at the insane engineering effort that this required. Yeah, LCP needed to be updated. Our gateway to many of the platforms that Unity supports, transition to CoreCLR brought along with it a new class library implementation that leverages modern APIs. CP needs a significant overhaul to get it caught up to speed. Okay, there's honestly one part that I still don't quite understand is how, because from what I understand, again, going back to this little diagram, IL2CPP stays on the same layer as CoreCLR. But based on this, it seems like they won't be working with one another. So I'm not quite sure. So yeah, this part I definitely don't understand because, so essentially write C# code, which gets converted by the compiler into intermediate language. Okay, that part makes sense. But then in theory, you've got the ILCPP, which runs here, converts the IL into machine code, which then runs it. But then you've got the CoreCLR, which also same thing, also converts the IL into the runtime JIT compilation, which then converts them down. So I'm not sure how ILCPP plus CoreCLR work together on that one. I don't know. Okay, so I guess that won't be interesting. Oh wow, a lot more people. Prime subs, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, probably need to enable screen space reflections too. Oh yeah, those will definitely have to. But thankfully they are adding, because actually that was something that Unity liked for quite a bit. Screen space reflections. They only had it for baked things. They only had baked reflections. I remember that I used that once in my. I think it was my what do you call it? Driving? Not driving. Racing? No, not the car driver, not the racing. No. What was the one that I made? The drag racing. That's it. Drag racing minigame. Yeah, there you go. This one, drag racing minigame. When I made this one. Oh boy, this sucks. When I made this one, that I wanted the cars to basically have nice reflections, and I don't remember what I ended up doing. I don't remember if I gave up on the reflections or not, because yeah, I suddenly realized that dynamic objects apparently could not have reflections, or maybe I bought an asset to get me screen space reflections, because it's quite crazy how it did not actually have those. Yeah, for the car selection, where's the car selection window? Yeah, there you go for that one. Yeah, there you go. I want to have reflections over here on this one, but yeah, this is the video when I realized, oh, Unity doesn't actually support this by default. So yeah, it's over here that I had to realize, okay, if I want this, then apparently I do need something quite different. Yeah. Any ideas to help an ADHD person learn Unity smoothly? I am currently using Udemy. It is going okay, but I feel like there is a shotgun pattern blast to do the same thing. Not a basic solid go-to. I mean, any ideas? So yeah, the answer is really just to learn, just to do things. That is basically it. Now, of course, for you specifically, I don't know what would be the benefit, because with ADHD, I assume that means that you find it hard to stay focused on something for literally an hour on end. So I think the only answer to that one is basically just learning short bursts. And I mean, something that I always recommend people, which might be especially useful for you, it's how you should not just blindly watch a video and then afterwards try to make something. No, you should watch a video, and as you're watching the video, you should be writing code so you are actually learning the things that you are trying to do. So I guess if you have that issue, if you have an issue with staying focused for long periods of time, then you should just do that even more often. So like watch like 1 minute of a video explaining something, and then after that 1 minute, immediately go and write some code. Then go back, watch 1 minute more, then go write some code. So you're constantly jumping back and forth. So basically, I always recommend that people do things. You have to actually write code if you want to learn how to write code. And most people skip that, which is the big problem. You can't just watch something and assume that the knowledge will stay there. No, it won't. You have to watch something, then you have to write that code in order to make sure that really stays within your brain. So I guess for your specific situation, my only specific advice would be do exactly that, but do it more intensely. So constantly jump back and forth between learning and doing, constantly do that one over and over again, as opposed to for someone who can stay focused for longer, I would say, okay, watch a 10-minute lecture, then write some code. But in your case, yeah, it might be literally be just 1 minute, then write some code. So you're still doing the same iteration cycle, but doing it much more often. I think that is probably the thing. And yeah, beyond that is literally just remember how learning things takes time. So yes, just don't be frustrated if it takes you a while to understand something, because yeah, that's just the normal learning process. That's basically how it goes. So yes, just take your time, understand that things take a while to learn, but as long as you are making progress, then you are guaranteed going to learn quite a bit. So yeah, just keep making that progress and eventually you will learn quite a bit. Yeah. If I understood correctly, CoreCLR won't run in the editor, but you can still build the game in IL2CPP. Oh, and that would benefit from CoreCLR to properly map and run things faster, but it's an alternative. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so yeah, CoreCLR in the editor, but then, yeah, for the build itself, if you are... Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Does CoreCLR work on consoles? I actually don't know. Does CoreCLR work, or mobile, let's say? Yes, CoreCLR works on mobile platforms. Okay. So hopefully it works on that, but does it work on consoles? Does not work directly as JIT runtime on game consoles, because consoles, yeah, they restrict that one. Okay, interesting. But so how does it work on? Okay, so I guess I guess you can choose JIT or AOT, maybe. Okay. So yeah, so maybe there's still benefit of using CoreCLR to like build the game, but then in the end, when you make the final build, use IL to CPP. Maybe that is it. Yeah. Yeah, IL to CPP, that was a big one. It was always a little bit sad how, from what I understood, doesn't really have too many benefits for PC developers like myself. So yeah. And if you use Unity 2017, oh, the first Unity version I used was 3.5. That was a very long time ago. So that was a very long time ago, yeah. I swallowed a lot of code alongs, but found that I didn't learn as much as I hoped. I'll learn how to do the code along, not understanding the principles. Yes, you definitely need to focus on learning the core concepts behind what you are learning, as opposed to just basically copy pasting code. Because yeah, copy pasting, that doesn't actually work too much. Yeah. Don't trust AI result for Google. Really? Usually it is pretty accurate, especially on this, especially on something that is very well documented. So I assume this is pretty correct, but yeah. Maybe someone as someone with ADHD as well, I can hyper focus on something for hours, but struggle is focusing on the correct thing. Oh, okay. There are things I want to learn and do, but I feel distracted by unrelated things. Okay, yeah, that is, I imagine that is quite tricky, yeah. So you basically have to trick your own brain to be hyper focused on learning Unity and not get distracted with like watching YouTube or something. Yeah, so I guess that is tricky, yeah. First version I used was 4 to edit Lindy 2B source code. Oh, interesting. Remember Unity 5. Yeah, that was fun. The island demo scene. I think I vaguely remember that. I mean, I remember the Unity scientist, the one who was very, no, not that one. Wasn't it scientist? Unity classic character. What was the name of that one? Was it like orange? No, I forgot. Oh boy, because actually, oh boy, was it a scientist? No, wasn't like a orange guy. What am I thinking? Yeah, there you go. This guy right here, Unity Labs. This guy, very, very interesting character style. Yeah, I don't know what version this was. I think it was maybe Unity 5. Yeah, but yeah, it was this guy right here was like an official thing. That was quite something. Yeah, that was quite nice. Yeah. Lives asked for definition of word. One was a fresh and sound, the other was different word location. I have different answers for definition. Yeah, I know this one changes, but at least in my experience, when it comes to things like this, very code, very objective things, usually it seems to be pretty good. So yeah. Working on my first Steam game after 8 years of mobile dev. That is awesome. I hope you found lots of success. That is cool. I mean, 8 years of mobile dev, that means you're already very experienced. So yes, nice. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. What do you smoke your bottle on your head after drinking it? Is some kind of ritual? Not really, just because like this it's open. So how do I close it? Using my hand? Well, I guess my head is easier. So literally just because it's easier. That's it. No other reason. All right. Performance by default. So here we go. This is the big benefit. This is what really matters. I'll be honest, Unity's swinging for the fences here. We managed to take a portion of the codebase that is generally invisible when it's doing its job right and made it a 10-pole achievement for Unity 7. That comes with expectations to meet. Yeah. CoreCLR is a significant improvement over Mono in many ways, but as always, there is no magic bullet. In bringing it online, we rewrote significant portions of the engine code where we hedged towards stability over speed. That is interesting. I mean, that definitely makes sense. First focus on getting something stable, and then focus on actually making it fast, making it improve. In order to deliver a product that we are proud of, what everyone expects of us, we need to prioritize performance by default. Waiting for the editor to reload after a code change should not prompt a trip to fetch coffee. Yeah, there you go. I mean, this one alone, if you achieve just this one, which again, by default, it will achieve that. If you achieve just this one, I would say a lot of people will actually be quite happy. So yes, just because we'll have this guaranteed, I imagine people will be quite happy with Unity 7. Opening a project cold should not be an overnight affair. Oh, I didn't actually know it would also help with that one. Because I would assume the first time you run, it actually compiles. So, okay, I did not expect that benefit, so I guess that's good. That is a positive, nice. Having the editor crash during a deep debugging session should not be expected. Oh, okay. Again, I don't normally use debuggers, so thankfully I haven't quite had that issue. I mean, I've definitely had crashes where I'm like, I dump way too many logs onto the console and everything crashes. That has definitely happened to me, but thankfully not this one. Micromanaging memory via obscure tribal knowledge tricks should no longer be required. Again, nice. So garbage collector just working better by default, that should be good. And plenty more over the coming months. Each of the challenges above will be given its own in-depth technical post. Hope you're all looking forward to them as much as I am. It's happening, yep. I definitely am looking forward to that. This seems quite good. Again, all these benefits, so yep. What happened? Just basically respecting the legacy of mono and all the benefits that will come from this much faster. Again, most people do complain about the domain reload, how long it takes for Unity to recompile code. So the fact that it will no longer have that issue, I think that alone will be a massive boost in usability for basically every single developer. I've also mentioned how I myself don't really have that problem, even on very big projects, since my PC is actually very good, because I have to use like record videos and so on, I need to have a pretty beefy machine. Because that, for me, thankfully, the compilation time, even on like a big project, usually only takes me like 5 seconds. So usually that's something that does not bother me too much. But still, going from 5 seconds to 1 second, that is great. And more importantly, for people who are like, okay, it takes like 10 years, 10 minutes to compile, all of a sudden taking just 1 minute, that alone, that sounds insane. So yeah, that is quite good, yeah. Thing I really want to take care of in this new version is a library folder on an empty project taking 3 gigs. I wonder, could they actually sort that out? I don't know. I actually never tried to sort of do an analysis on that folder, trying to see what is occupying all that space. Usually when I do backups of my empty projects, I intentionally get rid of that folder just so it doesn't occupy, but I do wonder, Game 9 Kings library folder is like 20 gigs, even though... Nice. That is big. Did you work with Nine Kings? Are you... I met the developer of Nine Kings back at DevGam last year. Very nice. I still haven't played the game, but yeah, very nice game, very successful, and the developer was quite cool. Oh, you did multiplayer backend. Oh, awesome. Oh, nice. Yeah. So that is awesome. Yeah, I met him. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, we had lunch, we had dinner. It was quite nice. Yeah, it was a very nice guy. So yeah, it was fun. Yeah, having him come over here was nice. So yeah, I gotta play it. Yeah, because it looks like an awesome game. So yeah, congrats on making such a successful game. That is quite the challenge. Quite good. Yeah. We're thinking about physics stability from Unity 6 to 7 will be. I mean, can we somehow make hundreds of gears of teeth run in accordance with one gear motion? Well, they recently announced or showcased, I think it was, yeah, maybe it was on this one as well. Yeah, I think it was on this one that, yeah, they mentioned some improvements to physics in 2D. So if you're talking about in 2D, they have improved some things. I don't know if the improvements are good to support that. Literally 100 years with teeth running correctly. I don't know about that part. That seems very, very tricky to solve, but maybe. So either way, yeah, they are definitely focusing on continuing improving their 2D physics. So yes, I assume that will continue to improve slightly. Yeah. Was Unity become slow at compiling scripts? Remember days of Unity 5 was much smoother. Is there a legit reason behind them doing that? I have no idea what they're doing in the background, so yeah, I don't know. Again, for me, thankfully, since I've always had a pretty good PC, I never quite had way too much time spent waiting for compilation, so I never quite had that sort of issue. But yeah, again, Unity 7 will help out that one, so yeah, I think that will be quite a nice one. Everyone can't wait for Unity 7. Seems like a massive step in the right direction. Yep, I agree. I agree. 20 steps on the worst of Unity. It's the reason I'm not using it, waiting for Unity 7 to use it again. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, again, they are definitely hyper-focused on trying to solve the thing that most people are complaining about. So yes, because that is awesome. Yeah. They are definitely focusing on the things that players want. So yeah, it's definitely a complete 180 to Unity in the previous leadership, the previous CEO, 3 years ago, when, yeah, they were definitely much more focused on like mobile monetization and so on, whereas now they're definitely focused on let's get the core of the engine working, let's get it all nice and solid, and then developers will use it and make awesome games. So yeah, they are. I do believe they are focused on the correct priorities. So yes, Unity 7, I hope, will be a very, very good one. Yeah. It's mostly editor tool and graphics API at the moment. I haven't learned the skills required to do anything other than logic server without it. I mean, Unity is great for not game dev stuff. I actually made a fun video on that. Unity, not game dev. It is actually quite nice how Unity is literally just a way of running and rendering C# code. That's basically it. So yeah, with that one, you can make games, but you can literally make anything you want. It can be some kind of application, something doesn't work. Like the overlay that I have here for the characters, as well as over here. Oh crap, oh crap. I clicked somewhere I shouldn't. So yeah, the little overlay that I have here, as well as this little control center that I have here, both these were made with Unity, and this is not a game. So over here, I can basically just show those. I can, the names, yeah, put the names, no. Oh, the questions, oh, okay, that was the names, show the questions and so on. So yeah, oh yeah, I haven't used this in ages. I haven't used this in ages. Is this one? Okay. Okay, apparently it doesn't show. Okay, now I'm questioning if this one crashed. That would suck. Because yeah, I haven't used this questions part in age. I think a question was supposed to show up, but or maybe it only. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, so basically this little control window that I got over here. So this one I created basically using Unity, and the characters themselves are using Unity. So again, this whole thing are basically two separate executables, each running their own thing. So yeah, you can definitely use Unity to make basically anything you can imagine. It doesn't have to be just games. So because that, yeah, just keep that in mind. If you have knowledge of Unity for making games, that means you also have knowledge of making applications, making anything you want to make. It doesn't have to be just games. So yes, for the most part, remember that. So if you come up with something that you think, oh, it would be nice to have a program that does this or this, hey, maybe you can use your Unity game dev knowledge to build that kind of program instead of having to buy some kind of software or something like that. That could work. Yeah. The thing I'm expecting the most is the ECS by default thing on game objects. Oh yeah, should really improve performance and ECS code. Yes, that is another thing that is going to be very crucial to like the future of the engine itself. So yes, I hope that will come out quite nicely. Unity with Where Digital. Okay, that was something. That was definitely something that happened. Yeah. Hope your videos and tutorials are stable with my game dev journey. Awesome! Hey, I'm glad my videos have helped you. Thank you so much. Keep on learning. Nice. Will there be AGRP in Unity 7 or only URP like the Universal Render Pipeline? There will be AGRP, but they are no longer continuing to work on it. So AGRP is very much static. So it still exists. It won't continue to exist for, I imagine, like 10 years, but it won't be getting any new features. So AGRP stays static, whilst URP, which is currently lower in terms of visual fidelity than AGRP, they're basically going to build that one up to the level of AGRP and then beyond. But yeah, so in Unity 7, you can still use AGRP, but for the most part, you probably should be using URP because that is going to be their main focus for the future. Yeah. I use UDP sockets to ingest accelerometer and RC input data from my DIY flight controller into Unity for simulation. Oh, awesome. That is a very cool project. Nice. Nice, yeah. That is cool. Yeah, doing a little like multiplayer connection and using that to basically send a bunch of real-time data. That is nice. Okay, that's a cool project. Nice. You suggest I just make a server and Unity server build then. Currently using a weird setup where I have to link folders and ensure code is easier in Unity. Are you talking about what specifically? Make a server in Unity server build? I'm not sure what you are talking about. About the editor tool for graphics? Doing a logic server without it. I mean, you can use Unity for literally everything, so I don't know. Make a server, a Unity server build then. Oh, I think what you mean. Making it like a headless server? Is that what you mean? I mean, you can if you don't have any visuals, then yes. Currently using a weird setup where I have to link folders to share code is easier in Unity. Standalone C# server and a Unity client, but sharing code between the projects. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yes, I mean, if you can make them both as just the same Unity project, I would say that is probably going to be easier. So yeah, I would probably try to build the server directly inside Unity just to make the code base simpler, just so you don't have to work with two different code bases. So yes, I would probably do that, but yeah. Because yeah, otherwise trying to keep things synchronized between two different code bases, that is actually quite tricky, quite difficult. So yeah. You know, large tutorial plans like kitchen cows. Change my career. Awesome! That is cool. So I'll explain what experience level might future tutorials be. I, like a few weeks ago, actually started working on what will eventually become my next course on making an incremental game. Something.co/game dev report. I actually don't remember when did I first publicly talk about it. Was it maybe like a month ago? Oh boy, it's been a month already? No, it's not this one. Let me see which one it is, because I didn't mention it somewhere. Oh, there you go. Very nice, productive time. Okay, so this is when I started. Okay, so at the end of July, or the beginning of July, that's when I really got to work on this one. And yeah, this one is meant to be an incremental game course, and it's on late beginner / intermediate. And yeah, although recently I've actually been insanely busy with so many things that I haven't quite worked on it for quite a bit. Well, the last I touched it was last week. So it's been a while since I touched on this one, but in theory, yes, this is going to be the next thing. What is the incremental game? Basically, a game where numbers go up. So you get lots of objects, you surround lots of objects, a lot of things go up and so on. So yes, so in theory, this is going to be the next big thing that I work on. But yeah, this past 2 weeks, I was so busy with so many other projects that I wasn't able to make much progress on this one. So yes, it's going to be my next thing, but I don't know when. So I guess we shall see how that goes. Yeah. Result numbers going up so high, the conventional data types don't cut it anymore. Not really. Over here, I intentionally left the numbers relatively small, so yeah, it's not that kind of incremental game, but yes, that is definitely a very classic problem in those kinds of incremental games. And yeah, if you do have those kinds of games where you want to go into the quintillions, yeah, you can't use ints, you can't use floats. No, for that, you have to make your own custom numeric type where you basically just have an exponent and a base value and basically just construct all of your logic based on that. What is that? I don't know. So yes, over here on this game, I intentionally did not make the numbers huge, so I didn't have to worry about that. So yeah, this one's meant to be a very simple incremental game. So basically, you got a spaceship automatically shooting things. I got a bunch of asteroids, and there you go. The asteroids drop a bunch of different resource types. Then the spaceship automatically grabs those resources. And then there is a certain time in the runtime, and of course, when the run is over, then we go into a little upgrade screen where we can buy all sorts of upgrades and so on. So yeah, basically this is the rough prototype of what I built, and now I just gotta take everything that I built here and kind of turn it into a proper step-by-step course. Yeah, there you go, the various upgrades and so on. So basically kind of like that. So it's quite fun. And over here, I built this. I actually don't know how long it took me to build this. Like a week, 2 weeks? I don't know. Took me a while, but not too much. So yeah, this actually went quite nicely. So yeah, quite a few scripts, but everything's nice and organized. So yeah, I think this will be a quite fun one. But yeah, no idea when I will be able to finish this project. I guess we shall see. Yeah. It's like incremental games, but nowadays they feel like an invariant game loop scale factor for me. Okay. I mean, they are all very similar, so yes, it does make sense that if you play too many, after a while, yeah, you do get like, oh, it's all a little bit the same thing, yeah. So yeah, basically over here, yes, very interesting. I will definitely be making a short 10-minute video talking about CoreCLR, what it is, what are the benefits and so on, because yeah, I do think, again, like I was saying, it is something very awesome that Unity is doing, but it's not sexy, it's not marketable. So I do think it makes sense to talk about it a little bit more so people know this is actually big news. It might not sound like big news, but it generally is very, very big news. So yes, that should be quite nice. All right, what time is it? It's 5 p.m. Wait, it's 5 p.m.? Yeah, it is 5 p.m. Anyways, let's do something fun. Which I haven't played in quite a while. Review guesser. How many of you know this game? That is quite fun, quite nice. Basically trying to guess the reviews. Hard things I find in Unity's pixel art setup, especially different resolutions, UI scaling. Oh yeah, those are definitely difficult. Yeah, if you want to make 100% pixels, 100% perfect pixels, then yes, that is indeed very difficult. Yeah. Here, can you start the stream over? I mean, thankfully it's all recorded, so yeah, you can definitely watch it quite a little bit. Yeah. Briefly explain what is mono behavior or CoreCLR. So Unity is switching to CoreCLR. Yes, Unity is switching to CoreCLR, but for you as the developer, nothing will change. You still write the code exactly the same. So yeah, again, going back to this diagram that I showed quite a few times. So basically, you as the developer, you are working on this layer. You are writing C# code that is not going to change. That still stays the same. C# code will still be compiled into intermediate language. The thing that is changing is over here, the ECO layers, CLR, runtime, and the JIT or head of time compilation, or I guess technically it's just the runtime, but this is being swapped out for the CoreCLR, which then works out with quite a lot of benefits. So the main benefit is basically the compilation time. You get performance by default. So all that time that you spend waiting for domain reload. So right here, let me modify just a simple script. So if I go on this one and I modify this script, press on save, and there you go. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, it's like 6 to 8 seconds. That's how long this took to recompile. And as soon as we have CoreCLR, instead of taking 8 seconds to recompile, it is just going to take like half a second. That is basically the main benefit, is you can make changes, then all of a sudden Alt tab back into Unity, press on play, and all of a sudden everything works instantly. Same thing over here. This time taking for setting up the scene. Nope, all of that is basically going to be just press a button and there you go, you're straight into that one. So yeah, that is actually one of the main benefits, one of the better benefits, basically making iteration speed much faster. So Unity itself runs quite nicely, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be quite awesome. All right, so let's play Review Guesser. Oh, this has sound. Let me go down just so I don't. Okay, Boba, protest notes written not by something but by a certain person. Okay, that's a very made-up name, and it seems to be, does it not have tags? Okay, it doesn't have tags. So basically gotta guess the review count. Okay. So it seems like an adventure point-and-click game, and those usually do not do well on Steam at all. It does seem to have very good visuals, but again, visual novels do not do well. So I don't know, maybe this is a very famous author. I don't know, but at a glance, again, just based on the fact that it seems to be a visual novel or point-and-click, I would not expect this one to be a big hit. But sometimes these have cult following, so I don't know if this specific name is like part of a specific IP or something, or if this is a famous author. But yes, I would definitely guess, I don't know, I would guess either 44 or 101, just because it's generally very well made. I mean, the art is very high quality. Yeah, it's telling about something about the author has something wrong. I don't know, but yeah, the art is very high quality, so it's definitely a very well made game, but on a genre that does not sell. So because that, it might be 101. I definitely don't think it's like 4,000, especially it's a $5 game. That would be an insane amount. So yeah, I'm going to guess 44 just because visual novels do not do well. Ah, slightly undershot it. There you go. It was 101. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's good. Again, the quality of the artwork is good. But again, it sucks how 100 reviews, that is definitely not enough for this one to be successful, I assume. So yes, it kind of, is this one playing thing? It kind of sucks how it probably took quite a lot of effort to build this, but yeah, it's just a genre that does not do well on Steam, so because that, yeah, it does not tend to do quite well. But yeah, 100 reviews, that's decent, yeah. So much for the amazing course. You really helped and are still helping me switch from Game Maker to Unity. Awesome, yeah. Thank you for watching them. I hope you're learning a lot. Nice, that is cool. I hope you enjoy. I do wonder. I've never used Game Maker, so I do wonder how that one works out. So yeah, nice. Let's go, Luma Island. Okay. So the capsule is interesting. It looks very kiddie friendly, but over here, the visuals look really awesome. I really like it. Get ready to explore, farm, fish, mine, craft, and raise magical lumas. They solve puzzles and embark on quests. Okay, this one is a very tricky one. Play solo or with friends in 4-player co-op. Choose relaxing, cozy, challenging, adventure, or epic hero mode. Okay, this is a very tough one. It's a very tough one because these kinds of crafty, sandboxy games, they do very well on Steam. But at the same time, there are a lot of them, so it's hard to kind of stand out. But this one seems to be very, very well made. But at the same time, it seems to be maybe too cozy. And on Steam, if you go for too cozy, maybe not so much. It seems like it's the kind of thing that would do insanely well on the Switch. But on Steam, maybe not as insanely well. Although, again, it is very, very good production value. So this one definitely did quite well. So yes, looking at these. High production value, doing quite well. The trailer is high quality. You've got character customization. Those seem quite good. So it's definitely not 29. I would guess that it's also not 800. I would guess this one is probably more successful than this. 200, that is way too much, especially for a $15 game. And 10,000 also is too much. I think I would have heard about this game if I knew 12,000. Yeah, give. So the store page is great. So yeah, out of this one, I would definitely guess 5,000. I guess maybe if they get unlucky, maybe this is a little bit too cozy, too childlike. Maybe it could be just 800. But, oh, that's tricky. So I don't know. Either 800 or 5,000. I don't know which one it might be. Yeah, again, this is very high quality, very well made, very good production values. It's got quite a lot of stuff. Okay, let's get 5,000. 11,000. Oh, wow. Okay, impressive. Okay, definitely not expected. I mean, 11,000, that generally means this one sold 500,000 copies. Nice. Okay, that is impressive. That is quite impressive. Okay. That is very impressive stuff. Yeah. Advent of powerful AI updates have become more frequent and better. Engineers are also using AI to write engine code. You mean for Unity? I actually don't know. That's actually a good question. I mean, just recently, Linus himself mentioned how the Linux kernel is getting AI code pushed onto it, and he's accepting it because it's high quality. So yeah, I guess maybe Unity's engineers are using AI to help them somehow. I don't know. That is interesting. Yeah. Might be able to use Unity with CoreCLR and have it run faster, but still build my .exe with the Mono backend. No, because once they make the swap, Mono is gone forever, so you won't be able to use Mono ever again. Although I question, why would you intentionally want to use Mono? I'm not sure, but either way, nope, you can't. Once they swap that out, that's it. Mono is gone, taken away forever. I have a question. Let's say you want to build a specific genre, such as bullet heaven survival-like. What's going to make it fun or attractive for people to make it sell? You need some kind of hook. You need something to stand out, because there are a lot of bullet heavens. So yes, nowadays you can't just make one that's just functional. No, you have to make one that is actually generally quite good. So it's up to you to use your imagination to come up with some unique hooks, something that players of that genre have not seen before, and then basically build that one. But yeah, it's very much up to you to figure out what is that thing, because yeah, it is definitely when you have a saturated genre, that is the challenge, is how you have to come up with things for how do you stand out. Nobody knows. So yes, try out lots of things and then see which one works out. Oh crap, it's gonna, I hate when this happens. Thanks so much, John. Thank you. Okay, I'll put that. Hey, Code Monkey. Hey there. Quick workflow question. On past projects, I overplanned on paper and failed because features were too hard to code. This time I started coding with just a core idea, but now coming up with features mid-dev is making progress super slow. How do you balance this? Do you plan everything A to Z, or is there a better middle ground to stay on track? I mean, for me, I normally do the way that you did right now, which is basically start coding with just a core idea. For the most part, that's it. I really just have a piece of paper, and I write the basic design of what I want to build on that piece of paper, and then I immediately go into the code and I start writing code step by step, knowing, of course, that it's not going to be perfect, so I won't be able to refactor it over and over again. But yeah, for the most part, that is my process. And I mentioned coming up with features mid-dev is making progress super slow. I mean, I guess for that one, I'm trying to question, because I guess it depends on why it's becoming super slow. Do you really think that it's because you didn't plan it out ahead of time? Is that what you think is making yourself slow? I guess that would be it, though. I would question what specifically is making that slow. Is it just a lack of planning? If so, if you yourself, if you work better with more planning, then yeah, I guess I would do kind of that, but then continue doing that. So start with the core idea and start building right away. Then when you got some kind of feature you want to implement, again, go back to write the core idea for that feature and start writing the code right away. So yeah, basically just doing that over and over again. For me, usually I just write on paper just the initial design for the game, and then everything else just happens basically in the code, just refactoring. But if you are finding that hard because you keep getting lost, if so, then yeah, I guess for every single feature, go pick another piece of paper, write another design for that feature, and then implement that feature. And that might actually help you a little bit. Because yeah, if you overplan too much, like you mentioned, overplan and fail because features were too hard to code. Yeah, if you overplan too much, the assumptions that you make once you are coming up with a plan, 90% of the time they will not survive once you actually build it into production. So that is why I'm not a big fan of very big, very detailed game design documents, because game development is so iterative that things are going to change. So the assumption that you make at the beginning of the project, chances are they won't modify, they won't change, they will not end up being the same thing. So because of that, I don't tend to enjoy super hardcore planning. That is why I do exactly what you did. But again, if you find that your issue has to do with planning, if so, then yes, I guess I would, every time you make a new feature, stop, take some time to plan just that one feature, plan just a little bit, and then write that feature. And then once you go into the next one, do the same thing over and over again until you finish the game. So I think in your case, I think that would probably be the better middle ground. Design, write, design, write, design, write, and basically just keep doing that loop over and over again. Yeah. Mods find easier to make mods with mono. Oh, interesting, because final build is easier to be decompiled. Okay, there you go. Well, that's a benefit of mono that I did not know about. Okay. That is interesting. I guess the solution for that is make some more modding tools yourself, but of course that takes quite a bit of time, quite a bit of effort, so that might not always be doable. So, okay. So after Vampire Survivors, what made Brotato be a successful game? They're more or less the same idea and same incrementals. Well, first of all, when Brotato came out, was very close to Vampire Survivors. So by this time, the genre was not as saturated. So because that, you didn't need to be so unique to stand out. It could just be a competent, well-made Vampire Survivors-like and found success. And this one, I would say it still stands out just based on the visuals, the art style for the game itself. It is very, very different from that. So people who are like reminiscing for the era of Flash games, they would probably enjoy this art style more than the pixel art Vampire Survivors art style. So that alone could be a differentiating factor. Nowadays, that would probably not be enough of a differentiating factor. So again, it has to do with competition and so on. So back then, just this was enough. Nowadays, just this would not be enough. So yes, you always got to keep in mind when did a certain game come out, because if you come out close enough to the original, you don't have to be as original yourself. You don't have to twist the formula too much. But the more there is saturation, the more you have to be unique in order to basically stand out. So that's roughly how it goes, yeah. Free to publish my game and it's being a flop. Oh, I think it's a good game. Published a few videos on my channel, but I don't know. Well, if it's literally your first game, my answer is just publish it, just because you gain so much. Actually, I just wrote a post about that literally today, about how it is so valuable to just make more games. So yeah, if you've never finished a game before, I really encourage you to do so, because yeah, there's a massive jump from level 0 to level 1. Level 0 is trying to make a game but didn't finish. Level 1 is you actually publish the game. So yes, that is a massive achievement. That is a massive difference. So yes, if you've never actually finished the game yourself, I recommend that you do, because you will learn so many things that you never actually learn until you take a project to the finish line. So yes, if you've never published something, I would say do it. It will likely indeed be a flop, quote unquote, but your goal with your first game is not really financial success. Your goal should be just learning. And you are definitely guaranteed to learn if you publish a game, if you take a game to the finish line. So yes, it won't be a quote-unquote flop from a financial standpoint, but that's not the point. It will definitely not be a flop. It won't be a huge success from a learning standpoint, and that is the entire purpose behind a first game. So because of that, yeah, definitely encourage you to publish it, because you will learn quite a bit, yeah. Secret in learning from your tutorials, awesome. No need to be secret, but okay, yeah, enjoy, nice. And for full in-depth physics courses. For the next generation, I definitely would love to make some videos, standalone videos explaining physics. That is something that honestly I've had that thought in my head for literally like 5+ years, making some standalone videos on each physics component. I think that would be fun. But yeah, no idea when I'll be able to get that. That is one of the many, many things that I've got on my giant to-do list for the most part. Yeah. So I'm applying lots of random copycat projects experience to this one. Mesh generation from Minecraft, grid system from XCOM. It's pretty cool how everything's reasonable. Nice, yeah. I mean, that is the hallmark of a successful intermediate plus developer, which is how you can basically reuse code that you did previously and you can use it later on and can basically skip a bunch of work and you can make yourself quite a lot more efficient. So yeah, that is a very nice, very positive thing, yeah. So next, Bloodstrike. Gather your friends, dive into the action-packed Battle Royale, squad fight, or hot zone like there's no tomorrow. Bloodstrike offers a wide range of playable strikers, each with a unique active and passive ability, letting you deploy drones, shield walls, and everything in between. Okay, that's a very tricky one. Bloodstrike. I've never heard of this, but based on the production values, this I would say it's a AA game. Very, very good production. I don't know why the drone is moving so fast. It definitely is very stylish. Definitely very, very well made. Okay, so this is a very, very well made AA game. Now, AA means marketing, and marketing means guaranteed number of sales. So guaranteed, it is not 47, guaranteed, but it is a battle royale, and battle royales are very, very tricky. So, oh, look at developer NetEase. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, AA game, this one definitely has quite a lot of publisher money behind it, so guaranteed to not be 47. But Battle Royale, from at least a name that I don't know at all, that is very tricky. Is it free to play? Oh, it is free to play. Okay, so yeah, so that kind of throws all rules out of the water. Yeah, free to play game, you can never know. So yeah, if it is free to play, then yeah, I'm guessing it's one of these two. Because yeah, with the marketing budget of NetEase, if it is free, guaranteed that it has more than 700 reviews, very likely above 5,000. So is it 13,000 or 150,000? I mean, 150,000 is an insane amount, but since it is free, maybe? I don't know. Again, definitely very high quality game in terms of production value, but on a very, very crowded genre. So again, free, that makes it so. Yeah, I also don't think it's 147 because that is an insane amount. But again, it is free. And I do know that, so NetEase, that is a Chinese publisher, and I do know the Chinese audience on Steam is massive. So if it is free and targeting the Chinese audience, it is not crazy that it might have 150K. That's an insane amount, but again, it is free, and for a massive audience, it could. But the name is not in Chinese, so maybe Chinese is not their primary audience. And it is Battle Royale. Yeah, I think 13 is more likely, but I would not be surprised to see 150. Okay, there you go. Nearly everyone underestimated it. Okay, nice. Got it. Life in the janitor's room with a JK girl. I don't know what is a JK girl. Returned to janitor's room and found that a JK had successfully barged in. So I got used to her presence, our relationship grew closer. Okay, I don't know what is JK, and I'm kind of afraid to Google it just because it might be not safe for work. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what is a JK girl, but yeah, so it's a visual novel, doesn't tend to do well. I would say it's probably a not safe for work game. So based on that, that also makes it very tricky because there is definitely an audience for not safe for work games. Oh, it's a schoolgirl, basically. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, not safe for work games. Those actually, there is a pretty large audience on Steam for that. I mean, guaranteed that it's not 186K. No, guaranteed not. And it's a $15 game. Okay. Okay, this is honestly insanely tricky. Because visual novels as a whole don't do well. So if it was just a visual novel, I would think 16 is more likely. But not safe for work, those can sometimes blow up. So it might be 200 or 6,000. Definitely don't think it's these. That would be an insane hit. So could it be 200? I mean, it's a $15, $12 game. So because of that, yeah, 6,000 might be too much. At least it doesn't seem to be way too unique to justify 6,000 reviews. So yeah. So it could be 16 just because nothing, but yeah, these games actually they tend to do well more than not. So because of that, yeah, I think 200. I think 6,000 is not likely just because especially because it's an expensive game, so 6,000 would be like I don't know, like $2 million. So I don't think it's that much. So yeah, I guess it's one of these two. Let's guess this one was successful. There you go, correct. And most players actually correctly guessed it. That is interesting, yeah. Two cents to leave reviews. Actually, I'd be surprised. Quite a lot of not safe for work games have quite a lot of reviews. So yes, that actually works. You think an RTS game is a viable game nowadays for success? That is very rough. The RTS genre is there's a very small, very passionate audience, but very small. So yes, RTS I would not recommend just because yeah, it is definitely it's not the easiest genre. It's not as bad as like a 2D platformer, but it's not too far from that. So I would not recommend it unless you have a very specific hook, something like that. Then no, RTS is probably not going to be a good genre nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, I'm learning from your beginning to mini course. Nice. And I'm watching and doing. After that, I'm going back to my game to finish making it. Nice. You have an advice for getting the most out of it. I mean, it sounds like you're already doing it. I mean, my advice is watch and do. Always make sure you do. Definitely don't forget that part because a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to watch this passively for like 20 hours and then I'll magically gain knowledge. That doesn't work like that. So yeah, definitely you gotta watch something and then actually do. So you gotta actually write code. And as long as you are doing that, which sounds like you are, watching and doing. So if you are doing that, then you are already doing great. So yeah, basically just continue doing that and yeah, you will learn quite a bit. Next, Dark Light. Okay, nice. Post-apocalyptic cyberpunk action platformer with intense hack and slash combat. Explore the unknown, enhance your abilities with cyberwares, and face off against supernatural entities to seal the dark void and end the eternal darkness. Okay, it's a very nice, moody description, and the game seems extremely well made. That is very high production quality, very nice animations, very nice visuals, very nice particle effects, all of it very, very good. Which again makes this very, very difficult because it's a 2D platformer, 2D Metroidvania, and those usually do not do well. So, how much you guess this one does well, considering how it's in a genre that is very hard to market, but it does have insanely high production values? I do not know. That is a very, very difficult one. Yeah, very difficult to analyze this one because yeah, again, very, very good in terms of production values, but on a genre that usually does not do too well. So I'm pretty sure it's not 65. This one's definitely competently made, so I assume they also were competent in their marketing themselves, so I assume it is not 65. 700 is already a nice amount. How much is it? 17 bucks. Okay, a little bit on the expensive side. Did they reach 4.7k? That is a very large amount. So if they did hit that, that is a massive win. That is awesome. It's a riveting Souls-like game featuring fast-paced combat. Okay. Unveiling unique visuals and dynamic world. The visuals definitely make it stand out quite a lot. That is definitely very nice. Intense gameplay. It's a very, very well-made game. So yeah, very, very difficult. Because yeah, very well made, very good production values, looks gorgeous, but on a genre that is very hard to market, very hard to get sales. So basically, what is the ceiling of something very well made, but on a very tough genre? Again, if they are this good, they have to be good at marketing, so it's guaranteed not 65. 400k, no, I think I would have known about it, so it's definitely not that one. So it's one of these three. And 50k, I think only like Hollow Knight reaches this level, so I also don't think it is this one, especially on a $17 game. That would be like $20 million, something like that, maybe more. So yeah, I don't think this one meant like $50 million. I don't think so. So I think it's one of these two. Again, insanely good production value. So the production values leads me to believe it's 4,000, but the genre leads me to believe that it's 700 because it's a very tough genre. I don't know, I'm really inclined to going for 4,000 just because it does look insanely good. That is definitely one of the not just better looking, but also seems very fluid, very good in terms of gameplay. So based on how good this one looks, yeah, I'm leaning more towards this one. So yeah, I guess I'm going to hope that something with such high production value actually did well. Okay, let's try to see. Is it right? Oh, only 700. Oh, that sucks. The game definitely deserves more. I mean, 700. It's not terrible. That is good, but yeah, it definitely deserves more. Oh man, again, that's it. That's the issue with platforms. That is why I don't recommend that you make platforms, because you can make some that is this insanely good in terms of production value, and you still get 600 reviews, which is definitely not good enough, not what you would assume out of something with this production value, just because of genre. If you take this same level of production value but applied it to like an incremental game, a similar game, guaranteed this would have like 5,000 reviews, guaranteed this would make like $20 million. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but yeah, that is why I always give people the advice that if you want to make games for a living, if you're trying to make games with the goals of financial success, then yeah, you cannot just pick a genre randomly. No, you need to pick a good marketable genre, because the same efforts that you apply of reaching the same level of quality, they will have wildly different levels of success based on just the genre itself. So yes, on this one, I definitely would have assumed a bit better. So yeah, I guess these developers, maybe they worked on something else. Is that a new one? Oh, there is a new one. Oh, and they went for, I mean, with Name Survivor is like Bullet Heaven. And this one just came out 2 months ago. And in 2 months, oh, this one is in 22 and it's got 600 reviews. And this one got 300, so got half the reviews, even though it's only like 2 months old. So yes, I would wager if this one is it a survival game or a Bullet Heaven? Oh, they made a lot of, oh, okay. What? Okay, that seems very, where was that pixelated? Why do you got different art styles? Okay, it seems like they're going for the, it's not Rain World, that game where it turned from 2D to 3D. Oh, it's early access. Oh, there you go. So yeah, so this one's definitely going to be quite more successful than the other one. It's mostly positive, 72%, so I'm guessing they're hopefully going to improve things, but yeah. But yeah, it does seem very interesting. Based on name, Survivor definitely assumed was like, yeah, so you got what is this? What is this pixel mode? You go like inside, you know, like controlling different characters? Very interesting. But yeah. Switch between top-down view and third-person shooter. That is interesting. That is definitely unique. Okay. So hopefully these developers, this game with this level of quality did not reach a level that I thought it would, but hopefully the next one does. Show results, and apparently I got 2 right and I missed one, so 70% accuracy, so 150, 50, 50. How you compare? Top 46% of all 10,000 game players. Okay, so I'm a little bit above the average at guessing how good a game is. Okay, that is nice. Does this one have, it's got a daily challenge, compete with the world. What is daily challenge? Boxhead Immortal. Okay, brought you the Boxhead World. Is that like a famous IP? A meteorite that fell unexpectedly continues to turn people into zombies. Survive this purgatorial world, you must unleash every bullet into hordes of zombies. Okay, it's a zombie shooter. And use explosive objects to drench every inch of land in blood. Okay, so... Okay, so right away the character has no animation, so yep, it's a very much a beginner game. And the trailer takes 20 seconds to get into action, so yeah, all of you definitely do not do this. Definitely don't spend 20 seconds for a trailer to get into action. No, go into action right away. So yeah, this seems like a basic Flash game, so very nice game for a beginner game dev, but definitely not the kind of game that finds success on Steam. So yeah, some definitely very much on the... Oh, it was a Flash game turned into this. Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Where's arrived? Something. It's a third-person cartoon shooting game. You got classic modes. Something, something, something. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't know it. I've never heard of this box set. I've definitely played quite a lot of Flash games just like this, like a survival shooter zombie game, but never this one. So box set. Nope, I don't know this one. So yeah, this one is $5. Okay, so it looks, so the animations look very subpar. It looks very basic again, pretty much like a Flash game. But $5, that is not too much. So basically I'm leaning towards these two. And I do wonder, is it just 22 or 129? I mean, considering how, based on the fact that it doesn't have a unique hook, it's just a top-down shooter, based on that, I would assume 22. But if you're saying that it's based on some kind of flash IP, if it is based on that, it might actually be 129. I definitely don't think it's 9,000. No, it's definitely not higher than that. So it's out of one of the first two. So out of these two, I don't know. I really think that the production quality is definitely quite low, quite subpar. So yeah, based on that, I think 22 is the one. Oh no, there you go. Actually got 129. Interesting. So I guess a lot of people have nostalgia for this. That may be it. Or maybe just a terrible trailer. Because the trailer is definitely not good. And it's early access. Last update made 2 years ago. Okay, abandoned early access. All right. Okay, I mean, I guess good news for them. Getting 129 reviews, that's a decent amount. That's like, what, 4,000 copies sold? So, yeah. Okay. I like to play games as well. Of course I do. When I have time, which sadly nowadays is very rarely. It's very rare that I have time to play something. When was the last time? Oh, I played Dredge like last month when I went on a trip to Italy, and I took my Steam Deck and I played Dredge on the plane, which the Steam Deck is awesome. If you fly a lot, I definitely recommend getting a Steam Deck. It is so awesome. Yeah, definitely very, very good. And yeah, that game was fun. Yeah. Is the problem with platforms a side-scrolling game, a gameplay problem, or something else entirely? Is it possible to make successful side-scrolling game in another genre? I mean, the big problem is how Steam players just don't really like platformers. Platformers is more of a console kind of genre. So if you make a platformer on Switch, it is much more likely to find success there than it is on Steam. So yeah, that's for the most part, that's really it. Just the audience that plays platformers is not really on Steam. You can still find success, of course. I mean, you can look at Hollow Knight, but that is very much the exception that proves the rule. It is not the standard. So yeah, I definitely would not look at Hollow Knight and assume, oh, this is the standard, this is how games just do, because no, that is very much not the case. So yes, it is just how the players don't really quite want platformers. So yeah, it's kind of the side view, it's kind of the gameplay, it's all of those mixed. Steam players don't quite want it. Can you make a successful side-scrolling game? You can. I mean, for example, you've got Oxygen not included. This one is on the side-scrolling perspective, and it's a colony simulation game, which is definitely the kind of genre that does well on Steam. And yeah, massively successful game. So yes, you can definitely make side camera games, just not 2D platformers or action platformers. No, those usually are very, very tough. But if you make something like this, side view, but it's an actual theme that players enjoy, like this. Simulation, management, colony builder, maybe incrementals. Yep, those, they can work out quite well, yeah. Well, I've been streaming for like 2 hours, so it's about time for me to stop so I can rest my voice a little bit. Treasure Speak, yep, it is a great game, very nice, yeah. What's your work schedule? Do you take daily, weekly breaks? I struggle with discipline sometimes for sure. Yes, I definitely do take quite a lot of breaks. That is the thing that helps me the most, staying efficient. And yeah, so basically for me, I wake up, I do a little bit of work. Then after like 1-2 hours of work, I take a break, I go to the gym. Then I come back, do like 1-2 hours of work. Then I have lunch, then I walk my dog. So take another break, then I come back, I do a bit more work, walk my dog again, come back, work some more. So yeah, basically constantly having breaks throughout the day. I never work for like 8 hours straight. Nope, that does not happen. I have tried that in the past and it's just not efficient. No, it just does not work. At least for me personally, it doesn't work. So yeah, for me, I'm a big fan of taking lots of breaks. So yeah, for the most part, I just work for like 2 hours straight, maybe 3 hours straight, and then I take a break. I walk my dog, I go do something else. So yeah, I never work for like more than 3 hours straight. So yeah, that is very much my strategy, is doing a lot of that, doing a lot of breaks. Like right now, yeah, so I'm going to finish this live stream. I'm going to walk my dog a little bit. Then I'm going to go for a run. Then I won't come back from my run at like, I don't know, maybe like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Then I'll work for like 1-2 hours more, and then I'll go to bed. So yeah, constantly doing breaks and so on, yeah. Why don't you speak Portuguese? Very interesting, you speaking Português, eu sou do Brazil. Just because if I speak Portuguese, 99% of the people here won't understand. So yeah, But yeah, when I'm talking with my dog, I always speak with him in Portuguese. Ne vale, anda cá, bebê. Anda, bebê. Anda. Opa. It's basically talking to my dog. I have to talk in Portuguese, otherwise it feels strange. Ne, bebezinho. Hey. Queres ir para parem? Já à rua? Já à rua? Ah. Já vamos à rua, já vamos. Ne, bebinho. Ai, lindo, lindo. Queres um biscoito? Um biscoito. Anda, vale. Deixa lá. So, yep, that is sort of that. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh, there's my tab. So, Bucks Immortal. So, apparently I missed that one by a little bit. Okay, Grim. Exclusive VR multiplayer survival game. Oh boy, that is rough. VR is rough. VR multiplayer, even more rough. Okay. Where you must immerse yourself, stranded on a secluded part of Earth. Survival is not just a choice, but a grueling battle against nature and other players. Okay, so trying to make like Rust in VR. The concept could be interesting, but I mean, technically it does have a supposedly sort of professional developer, at least like 2 developers. So based on this, I mean, honestly, the first screenshots, these look pretty terrible, but it is very clearly trying to be Rust, but in VR. And there might be some appeal to that idea. So I don't know, my initial reaction is, okay, this looks pretty bad, but if you think about it in terms of Rust in VR, that might actually be a more appealing one. I mean, the Steam page is definitely done properly. Again, the visuals definitely look very subpar, extremely subpar, but, well, that's just the limitation of VR. So actually, that's a curious one. How much is it? $20. I mean, VR is very, very difficult, so I don't think it's so beginner level that it would be 11 reviews. I think that would be a massive flop, but it's definitely not 3,000. So yeah, I think this one, 128, I think that makes sense. Yep, there you go. Correctly guessed it. So yeah, very interesting one on that, yeah. Schedule 1 last year was incredibly inspiring. Nice. Yep, it is made in Unity, and yeah, I still haven't played it, so yeah, definitely gotta play that one, because yeah, it's a very fun game, made millions of dollars. Very inspiring story. Big fan. Oh, sou fã do Brasil. Oh, nice, obrigado. Não perca vídeo seu aqui. Obrigado por ter falado umas palavras em português. Oh, nice, yeah, awesome, yeah. Thank you so much for watching all the videos. Yeah, I hope you've learned quite a lot. Yeah, it's nice to see a audience from all over the world. That is cool. I mean, when I went to Brazil for the first time like 3 months ago, in April, that was the first time that I went to Brazil. I went to Gamescom Latam, very awesome event, very cool, very huge. And yeah, met a bunch of Brazilian developers who said they learned by watching my videos. That is awesome. That is always super cool. I always love hearing that. It's always interesting to go to different parts of the world and have people say they've learned from watching my videos. That is, it is so cool, because most of the times I'm here just by myself, just recording videos. So yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine that I'm right here and someone is on the other side of the world watching my videos, but of course that does happen. So, so yes, that is nice. And yeah, definitely hope to get back to Brazil soon. Maybe like in January or February, because I hate the cold. So yeah, I guess I would love to spend like 6 months in Portugal, 6 months in Brazil, just constantly running away from the cold. That would be my dream. But I can't quite do that because of him, because I couldn't possibly leave him alone for 6 months, nor could I take him with me in the plane. I mean, taking a dog on the plane, I think he would be way too stressed out being on the little crate. So yes, because of that, no. Hey, buddy. All right, next. NHRA Championship Drag Racing. Okay, drag racing minigame. Okay, it seems to be well made on an interesting niche genre. I mean, racing games usually don't do quite well on Steam, but it seems to be like sort of double A. So it seems to be all right. And apparently it has a trademark. So it's an officially licensed game, specifically all about drag racing. Okay. Okay, this is a tricky one. Because again, because it is official license, you would assume that means some level of marketing. So you would assume some level of success. I mean, it's guaranteed not zero. No. Oh, just $8. It's actually pretty cheap. Okay, it doesn't have much of a description. Okay, that's a very tricky one to guess. That's a very, very tricky one to guess. Because again, it's not zero, but I think 5,000 is way too big and 200 is way too small. So it would be one of these two, but I don't know which one. Could it be more than 5,000? How big is drag racing? I don't know how big it is. I assume it's not insanely huge. It's not like NFL levels. So, okay, that's a tricky one. I don't know which one. Oh boy. Because it's got a trademark and it's pretty cheap, but 5,000 seems insane. If it said 500, I would pick that one. If it said like 1,000, I would pick that one, but 5,000. But again, 200 seems way too low for something that has a trademark, something that is actually pretty cheap. Okay, I guess let's go for 5,000. Ah, this was 200. I slightly overshot it this time. Yeah, quite a bit. Sometimes from Brazil too. Nice. Different is Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese. Yes, some words are quite different. Like I've got a few Brazilian friends, and yeah, every time that I talk to them, I constantly have to think about different words. Like when they told me to grab something from the geladeira, I thought to myself, "Oh, grab it from the fridge." No, I thought to myself, grab it from the freezer. But no, turns out geladeira means frigorífico, fridge. So yeah. And about a pillow, instead of being almofada, it's travesseiro. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, basically they are definitely different words. So yeah, definitely need to. So the language is mostly the same, but yeah, definitely some different words that you have to learn little by little. So yeah, I've definitely had to learn quite a bit about Brazilian words. So yeah, it's it is nice. Yeah. When are you going to start working on your survival game? Well, I would love to work on survival. Are you talking about Total World Liberation? Yeah, that one. Maybe next year, maybe something like that. I'm not quite sure. I mean, the goal was to get back to it this year, but of course that did not happen. So yes, I guess we shall see. Maybe next year that might actually happen. Yeah. You can't store geladas in geladeira. Not logical. Yeah, there you go. See. So yeah, for me, when I hear geladeira, I think, yeah, I think gelados para gelar. So I think it's a freezer, but no, apparently no. Apparently geladeira is a fridge. Got a better idea. Do you reckon action RPG or hack and slash Souls-like perform? Is Voin an exception? What is Voin? Is that a game? What is Voin? I don't know what is Voin. Crafted by a solo developer. Wow. Impressive. First person. Wow. I mean, right away, I would say this is definitely an exception just because this is insanely high quality. So for a solo dev to build this, that is, by definition, an exception. And it's got a publisher as well. So yeah, by definition, this is very much an exception. Yeah. So action RPG or hack and slash. Honestly, I would say, I don't know. It's very difficult because it's a game, it's a genre that needs to be done very, very well. It needs very high production values, kind of like this one. So if you can build on this level of quality, I think it's not a terrible genre. It's not the best, but not terrible. So the tough part is getting this level of production values. So yeah, because this is very, very high quality, very, very good. So yeah, if you have this kind of production values, you can find success. But if you have something quite a lot more basic, it is very, very difficult. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this genre, but I guess if you have more of art skills, then yeah, maybe you could. But yeah, I would say this one is definitely an exception because yeah, crafted by a sole developer and looks this good. Yeah, this is not your standard game by a standard sole developer. No, this is very much an exception. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice the reviews. Yeah, 2000. So yeah, this one's very, very successful. Very, very good. So yeah, if you can build this level of quality, this genre can be good. If you can't, I would probably not recommend. Yeah. How do you manage task switching? Is doing a lot of different things. I'm making a story game, so I'm half writing, half into dev. Find switching very hard. Interesting. I mean, for me, I leave the switching to happen basically naturally. So I'm working on some kind of task, and eventually I won't get annoyed with that task. Like I'm writing some kind of text post. I write like 10 different text posts. Now I'm like, okay, I can't write anymore. So then I just naturally move on to another task. So I never like actively switch tasks. It's always like I'm working on something. And when I'm tired of this thing, then I start working on something else. So like I'm editing a video, but it's like I've been editing for like 45 minutes. I hate editing. I'm done with this. So let me move on to the next task on my task list. So for me, I never actively switch tasks. It's just do something until I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then I do something else. So yeah, in that sense, I think that helps me, the task switching, be much easier, because whenever I switch tasks, I'm like desperate to switch tasks. So that helps as opposed to forcing myself to switch. So yeah, the fact that I never force myself, I think that helps me out quite a bit. Yeah. Oh, hey, Secret One. How's it going? Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's been 2 hours. Yeah, it's about time for me to rest my voice. Yeah. Like and Slash always has a space in the market. Can't really give an opinion on action RPG, isn't my cup of tea. Sort of. Again, it is very, very difficult to make them well. But if you can make them, yeah, they do have a kind of market. But again, look at this production value. This is not something that a beginner can make. So that is the issue. It is a genre that requires very, very well built. Okay, species, artificial life, real evolution. Okay. Oh, that was cool. Play the evolution. Oh, so kind of like Spore. Oh, I loved Spore. That was an awesome game. Scientifically grounded emergent simulation of natural selection. Creatures evolve and speciate in response to in-game mutation and selection forces, allowing you to experience and tinker with evolution in real time. That looks super cool. I mean, it looks very janky, but super cool. Wow. I adored Spore. I know a lot of people found Spore to be very disappointing, but me, I didn't. I just love that game. I played it nonstop. The creature creation, that was so cool. So yeah, this one seems very janky, but that is part of the charm. That's what makes it so unique. All these different creatures. That looks quite cool. Okay, so now my question, is it janky enough that it scares away people? Or is the concept cool enough that it actually attracts people? That's a good question. I actually don't know. So on this one, I mean, guaranteed it's not one review. No. $20 actually, it's expensive, but for this genre, not so much expensive. If you have a very complex game, then actually going for something more expensive, that actually seems to do well. So it's definitely not one. It's definitely not 200K. So it's one of these three. I think 29 would be insane success. I think I would have heard if it was so successful, and I've never heard of this one, even though it seems very interesting. So I don't think it's 29, so I think it's one of these two, either 1,000 or 7,000. That is tricky. Again, the only negative that I'm seeing is just the visuals being quite janky. So is the Steam audience forgiving of that? That is the question. Because again, look at that. That looks very interesting simulation. Very, very cool. Look at how it grows. That is so fascinating. That is so awesome. How come I've never heard of this game? That looks so insanely cool. Huh. Visuals are from Morrowind. It kind of is on that level, yeah. I mean, but it is... Oh boy, that is tricky, yeah. Again, do I think the Steam audience is very accepting of subpar visuals in favor of a very interesting idea? And honestly, I think the answer is mostly yes. I mean, you've got like Supermarket Simulator, which made literally millions of dollars, and it's generally a great game, but it's definitely not a good looking game. This is a very classic like asset pack kind of game. Nobody plays this for the visuals, but it found the same success because the gameplay is so compelling. So based on that, the Steam audience is definitely very, very accepting of lower visuals if they come with better mechanics, which seems to be the case on this one. Okay, so is it 6,000? I mean, that would be insane success. That would be quite good. I mean, that would be, let's do the math, that would be like 200,000 copies. So at $20, that would be like $5 million? Maybe more? Okay. Do I think this game made $5 million or just 1 mil? That is a tricky question. It's kind of niche. Yeah, I do think it is definitely quite niche. The mechanics are quite niche. Super interesting, at least for me personally, but definitely quite niche. Did this sell 200,000 copies or just 50,000? I do not know. I mean, on the previous one, I like undershot and it was way more. So on this one, I'm inclined to go way more, but I think I'm going to overshoot. Because, yeah, again, very interesting, very compelling, but very niche. So because that, yeah, I think 1,000 might be the more accurate one, but I wouldn't be surprised for that one because it is very compelling. Well, let's go with 1,000. There you go. Correctly guessed it. Okay, nice. But yeah, very, very interesting game. That review's mostly positive. Okay, so it has a little bit of jank. But yeah, definitely quite interesting. Quite a nice game, yeah. Very unique. Yep, definitely Spore inspired, Spore like, and that is quite cool. I definitely wish there were more games like Spore, because Spore was so awesome. That was so cool. Tanks. Is this literally the original game? I remember playing this on like my Game Boy. Is this literally meant to be the original or a remake of that one? I remember playing this for hours, and I think I didn't have like the original. I had one of those Game Boy cartridges that had like 50 different games. But I played it for quite a bit. It was very nice. I quite enjoyed this one. So it's a fun game for 1 to 2 players. We're going to protect the base. Yep, okay. Beautiful pixel graphics. Okay, that's definitely marketing talk right there. Okay. Oh, it's free. Okay, so someone made this as just a learning project. That is awesome. I quite like that. That is quite good, yeah. So game Tanks made for that one. So it is clearly like nostalgia bait. If this was paid, I would guess basically 0 reviews, but it's free, so it's definitely not going to be 0 reviews. So could it be 100? I don't know. I guess it's a question of nostalgia. How many people have nostalgia? Because it seems at least to be very well made. It seems to be a very good remake of the original game. So how many people would be interested in playing a remake of that one? Now, again, given the fact that it's free, I would say definitely more than a few people. So based on how it's free, I'm thinking of these two. Could it be 6,000? I don't know. I think it's way too niche of a game. I mean, at least for me, I definitely do have nostalgia for this game. But 7,000, again, that's like 200,000 copies. Do I think 200,000 people install this, even though it is free? I don't think so. I think that is way too much. But since it's free, I think that one is way too little. So I think 271 is probably the one that is more likely. Yeah, I think that one is the one that's more likely. Again, it's a good remake and it's free, but it is just a niche thing. So if there was like 1,000 reviews, I would guess that one. But yeah, between 270 and 6,000, I think 200 is most likely. And there you go. Yep, got it. Majority underestimated it. Oh, does that mean most people voted on 97? Yeah, I guess most... What? Yeah, most people voted between 0 and 100, then between 100 and 1K. Yep. Okay, that is interesting, yeah. That is interesting. Okay, this one. Geez, you have to maintain your mentality in a place where any sound can cause your death. Survival co-op game for 1 to 4 players. Okay. Okay, now here's a trailer that you definitely shouldn't do. Is this literally just... Is it bugged? Or is it literally the same image shown for 15 seconds? Okay, definitely don't do this on your trailers. You definitely have to show action right away. Ow, ow. Right. Guessing number of likes or wish list? Nope, it's guessing number of reviews. So this is how many reviews, which in turn reviews are a proxy for sales. So yeah, it's basically guessing how successful a specific game is. Okay, so this one basically got a 1-minute trailer that just shows like 4 still images. Okay, that is not good. But in terms of production value, I don't know. This one looks quite good, but this one looks quite bad. Like there are no shadows over there, so yeah. Doesn't seem to be quite good. And then the name, I have no idea if this means anything specific, so that part is tricky. But it's a horror game, and horror games usually tend to do quite well, just because the horror audience usually they play quite a lot of games. And it's $5, which is standard. Oh, early access game. Okay, early access game from 22, which means abandoned. So, and it's co-op, 1 to 4 players, $5. Okay, so this one, it's definitely one of these two. Now, do I think it is this bad? Again, the benefits, the reason why horror is a great genre for in-devs is because there are quite a lot of players that play quite a lot of horror games, meaning they don't just play one game and that's it. No, they play like 10 different games, 10 different horror games every single month. So because of that, that means they experiment with lots of games, which means in general horror games tend to sell more copies and have more reviews. But this one does seem to be very basic, and with a trailer that is literally just still images. Okay, I have no idea. Why would you make a trailer like this? I don't know. And the secondary trailer, is this one better? Nope, same thing, also just still images, so that is not a good trailer. So I have no idea if this means anything specifically, anything interesting. I don't know, but yeah. So based on all of that, I think it's going to be 33. So this one, oh no, there you go. Actually got 100 on $5. That is a pretty good result. So there you go. Okay. And yeah, most people did apparently underestimate the game. Only a few people. Wow, some people thought it was between 1K and 10K. Okay. Wow. So that one is slightly undershot on this one. That is impressive. Again, maybe it is literally what I just said. Oh, it says 101. That one says 86. Yeah. That one says 86. But those are just your languages. Oh, there you go. All languages is with that one. Okay. All right. So doing a little bit better than I thought. Yeah. Maybe it looks better on screenshot. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I mean, 100, that's a pretty decent amount. Again, so that means about 4,000 copies sold. That's pretty good. Even though it is apparently... Oh, they just left it saying it's an early access game, but it's not. It's no longer, at least not officially in early access. And yeah, launched in 22 with 84 reviews. Okay, definitely a bit better than I thought it would do, but yeah, okay, that's quite nice. So let's see the results. Intelligence completed, 75% accuracy, 3 correct, 3 close. Okay, that's pretty good. Your score, round scores. And I was in the 60th percentile. Rank number 9. Wait, I'm on number 9? Oh, did only like 10 people do it? So I'm literally just one from the bottom? Or are there more than 10? Oh no, there are 20 players. So yeah, out of 20, I got number 9. Hey, that's top half. That is top half. I guess I got a little bit decent. I mean, 75%, that is pretty accurate. Pretty nice, yeah. Pick a theme. I never quite played through this whole thing, so I don't know what... This is like different... Emotional games, sandbox games, 3D games. Let's go sandbox games. Oh, this one is different. Okay. Alright, your virtual home where 50 million users connect, play, and express their digital selves. Okay, so going for like the Sims audience. That is a tricky audience. It's a massive audience, but a very tricky audience to reach. It's found per Pocket World, so does that mean like it's a mobile game port? Okay, the art looks very interesting. Very, definitely stands out. Okay. It's like Habbo Hotel mixed with The Sims. We're over 50 million users. Is it free? Okay, it's free. Oh boy. Free always messes things up, so yeah, you never quite know. So yeah, with free, it can be literally anything. It could even be 87K, so yeah, I have no idea. I guess out of this one, I don't know, I would say the Steam audience is probably not huge into this, but maybe. So yeah, either 40,000 or 2,600. Oh boy, let's go with 40. No, 200. Oh wow. Okay, that shocked me. Huh. Oh, wow. Okay. Being free to play, I definitely assumed this would have quite a bit. So, what is the Steam's audience not on Steam? Okay, I definitely did not expect that. Wow. For a free to play game to get just 300 reviews, that is very low. Huh. Well, okay, there you go. I mean, usually I'm overshooting. Now I way overshot it. That was very much unexpected. Hey, Silicon Orchid, how's it going? Hey, Lily, how's it going? Paxton Games, hey everyone, how you all doing? Do you have any good alternatives to your kitchen kiosk course? I mean, no need for alternatives. That one is still great, but cmon.co/free courses. So you can see all my free course here. So basically the only alternative, I guess, would be my Little Ender course. If you want something that is more focused on 2D, this one would be great. But yeah, either one is a great starting point. So yeah, any one of those is quite nice, yeah. Okay, so this one I got fully wrong, yeah. Luna's Fishing Garden is a short, cozy fishing and building game. Catch fish, trade it, and create the garden of your dreams by planting new trees, placing water objects, and bring animals to the archipelago. Okay, based on the visuals, it looks like a mobile game, and the Steam audience usually does not like mobile games. So, my initial response is not very good, but at the same time, it does seem to be well made. Okay, that is tricky, and it's $5. Oof. If this one had like 50 reviews, I would pick that one, but no, it has like 17 or 900 for $5. I really don't think the Steam audience would enjoy something that is very much mobile focused. I mean, it has all the buttons, very much looks super mobile-like, so because of that, I don't think it is quite a lot. 17 seems too low though, so yeah, again, I would guess like 50. But I guess if I have to pick between 17 and 1,000 for this kind of game, I mean, maybe it's really compelling. Maybe it's like more of an incremental game than a cozy sandbox game. Again, definitely does have production value. But 1,000 is so much. That is a huge success. That is like 50,000 copies. That's like $1 million. Do I think this game made $1 million? Oh boy, that is tricky. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, nice raid. Is that a raid? How many people are on there? Oh, 26 viewers. Oh, wow. That's quite a lot. Okay, so, but was there a raid? Oh, first time chat from Raider. What? Oh, there you go. Raiding with a party. Oh, thank you. Leonlet codes it. Oh, thank you so much. That's cool. I didn't even notice that part. Oh, nice. That's fun. Thank you. 3-4 times, so I thought I'd pass along one. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. I didn't see that. No. So yeah, I definitely did not see that. I don't even know. How do I rate someone? Okay, I guess there's this button, rate channel. So I guess that's what I eventually pick. Okay, I guess that's it. Okay, so I guess I'll try that when I stop. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, on this one is quite tricky. They plan to update the 70 plus lessons on Udemy. I definitely would love to. I mean, my goal is to continue updating that course basically until the end of time. But so yes, eventually, but no idea when. I mean, I've been updating that one consistently like twice per year for the past like 3 years. So yeah, I'll definitely continue updating it. But yeah, no idea when. But when I do, yes, I'll update both on my website and on Udemy. That's basically it. Yeah. Here, new to Twitch. Yes, yes, I am definitely new to Twitch. Definitely don't quite understand it. No. Okay, so on this one, I mean, it's a cozy game, which usually do well, an incremental game, which does well, and the production value seems to be quite good, but it definitely seems the UI is very mobile-like. So I do wonder, does Steam players dislike for mobile UI? Is that enough to punish this game or not? Because definitely seems to be more high quality than 17 reviews. Again, if it had like 200, 100 reviews, I would pick that one. But because like 1,000, that is so much. But I do think 1,000 is more likely than 17. So, okay, I'm going to guess this. Holy crap, 2,000. Okay, that is unexpected. Nearly everyone underestimated. Yeah. Very few people pick that one. Okay. So I'm guessing the gameplay must be very good. Yeah, 93%. Okay. I thought it looked very mobile-like, but I guess people do enjoy the production value. Okay. That is definitely surprising. I did not expect that one. Wow. Okay, congrats to this developer, I guess, because that is much higher than I thought. That was quite something. Nice. Victory at Sea Atlantic, World War II, Naval Warfare. Okay, a naval warfare simulation game. All right. In the cold and forgiving waters of the Atlantic theater in World War II. So it definitely does have production values. So kind of like a low AA game, maybe. Definitely doesn't seem to be like a basic indie game. No, this one definitely has quite a bit of production value. Nice water, nice visuals. So it looks well made, but very, very niche. So I do wonder what this one is like. Very well made, but very niche. So I definitely don't think it's 39 because it's definitely well made. But 40 bucks, that is expensive. So at 40 bucks, I don't think it's 8,000. That would be an insane amount of money. That would be like, what, $20 million? That would be an insane amount of money. So it seems very well made, but that seems very, very much. 40 bucks. That's definitely pushing it in terms of indie games on Steam. And it went into early access, but did it leave early access or did it stay there? I don't know. Okay, so this one is... Oh boy, that one is tricky. It's definitely not 39. And I also definitely don't think it's that one, but also don't think it's 100. Because 100 seems a bit too low. But out of those, I guess I would pick 100. So you think it's 39? I mean, it could be just because based on the price. That is a very expensive price. So yeah, a very low amount of copies, that could definitely happen. Because they're very niche, very expensive. But I don't know, it seems to have good enough production values that I'm guessing they marketed well, that I'm guessing would lead to more than 39. I mean, 39 is a very low number. So yeah, I'm leaning more towards 100. But yeah, I would not be surprised with 39. I would be very surprised with 8,000. So yeah, out of these two, I think based on production values, I would assume they would have some kind of marketing budget, which I would assume would give them at least like 50 reviews. So yeah, based on the production values, I think 100 is more likely than 39. So let's see, is that right? Okay, that is correct. But yeah, most players 50. So yeah, basically 50-50. Yeah, it could have been just that one because yeah, definitely quite a tricky one. Yeah, could have gone both ways. Nice. Architect Life, a house design simulator. Create dream homes. Oh, that looks good. From 3D planning, modeling through on-site decision making, you must bring each project to life while giving free rein to your creativity. Oh, that looks quite cool. I can like draw. Oh, you draw like little dioramas? Oh, that looks so cool. Very nice. I love miniatures, so this one already looks quite nice. And apparently then you can turn the miniature into an actual thing. And you can take pictures. Okay, so it's more of a sandbox than an actual game. But it does look quite cool. It does look very nice. Great Dream Homes from... Okay, nice. Architect Live, House Design Simulator. And it's got a support pack. Support edition. Okay. And it costs 20 bucks. That's pretty reasonable. And you can get extra content with a more expensive version, I'm guessing. So definitely, it's definitely not a beginner game. Creative simulation. This one definitely, those are some correct, nice, well, building tools. Those are nice. First fix, model the walls, select the floor, outdoors, first person view visits. So that looks quite nice. Okay, it's definitely a quality game. Definitely not someone's first beginner game. No, this is definitely a professionally made game by a professional studio. It seems very well made, seems very capable. So I do wonder. Okay. Ah, there you go. This one again. It's all very tricky. It's definitely not 22. But I would think 200 is too low. I would think this one would be closer to like 800. Between 200 and 8,000. Oh boy, that is tricky. That is tricky. Very tricky. Because again, it seems to be very high quality, very well made, but also very, very niche. I mean, at 17 bucks, that is not necessarily too much for these kinds of games. And like the cozy games, the cozy genre, That one usually does well on Steam, so I think based on that, I think this one is more likely to do better than I think than worse. So out of all the options, I think 7,000, it seems too much, but it might actually be. Again, it's a very well-made game, very unique, and 20 bucks is not necessarily that expensive for this kind of game, for like a sandbox game. And I think 200 reviews would be kind of a failure, and especially considering how, again, they've got a supported edition, so clearly this is a professionally made game. This is not someone's first game. Pretty niche. Yeah, it's definitely niche, but I don't think it's that niche, just because, again, The Sims exists, and The Sims sells literally millions upon millions of copies. So considering how The Sims exists, I would be... because a lot of people like designing houses on The Sims, and this one's basically just that. So basically, you don't simulate any kind of characters. No, just build some nice dioramas, and that's it. And then alone, I think 7K is too high, but I think it's definitely more likely to be around 7K than 200. Because 200 would be tricky. It's like The Sims without The Sims. Yeah, it's basically just the building part. Okay, that's a good question. How many games like this are there? I don't know, but not too many, I don't think. I mean, Sims-like games, those are usually not insanely crowded. It's not an insanely crowded genre, so those can do well. Oh boy, so on this one, 200 is too low, 7,000 is too high. So out of these, which one do I think is more likely? It could technically be a flop, you know, with like, people might have hated the fact that they've got a supported edition and it costs 20 bucks. So people might be like, oh, this developer's being too greedy, so let's go way too low. Or it might actually be a very well-made game, something that has an actual audience, and if so, people actually enjoy having extra stuff. So yeah, without knowing the pedigree of the developer, it's kind of hard. But yeah, I guess looking at both of these, I think 7,000. I think that's what I'm going to try to guess. Nope, there you go, 200. Okay, so I definitely thought this would have quite a bit more. Definitely would have expected, like, okay, it's mixed. Oh, 48. Okay, that explains it. Yeah. Even if you make a game and your game is an interesting idea with nice hook and people actually want to play it, yeah, if you go into mixed, that basically kills your sales right away. So yeah, I assume if this one had like, was well made with like very positive reviews, I assume it would have sold definitely 1,000 reviews. It would have sold quite a lot. But yes, based on being mixed, yeah, that basically kills your sales right away. So that's why you have to be very careful, or you have to make games that are good enough to get at least 70% positive in order to get the mostly positive result. Because yeah, if you get mixed, that's basically the kiss of death. You won't survive. So yeah, sadly, this game apparently does have some issues, which limited it quite a bit. Playing the game, but not on full price. Yeah, way too base compared to what I'm expecting. Don't hate it for the price, however, absolutely not worth full price and barely worth what I paid. Okay, so yeah, it seems to be a little bit bare bones, so yeah, it didn't quite work out quite like that, yeah. What is this networking framework? I'm a big fan of netcode for game objects, but yeah, basically all of them are great. Mirror is pretty easy to use, Photon is pretty easy to use, Fishnet is pretty easy to use, so yep. Basically, all of them seem to be great, so yeah, I would say just flip a coin, pick one, and that's basically it, yeah. Our Steam reviews, like Amazon reviews, are a lot of fake. Nope. Thankfully, I don't think Steam has that kind of problem because you have to actually buy the game to leave a review. So, thankfully, those are not issues. And if you buy the game, you leave a review, but then you refund, it shows here that it's been refunded. So, or it shows you got it for free. So yeah, for the most part, no, I don't think Steam has that kind of issue. So I think if the reviews are positive, for the most part, they are positive. Now, technically, of course, that is not 100% the case. You can always fake that. You can buy some services that sort of give you, they won't write reviews for you. So some people can try to cheat, but for the most part, no, I think Steam's actually quite good on that. We're thinking about trying to make a support pack or similar DLC for a solo indie game. Is it worth it, or would it be better to spend a little more time polishing the game? Definitely spend more time polishing the game. People do not like this, so unless you have a game that looks insanely professional, going for this is likely going to be a negative. I mean, if you want a very clear example of that, just look at the game Cuff Bust. This was a game that had everything to find insane monumental success, like literally made millions upon millions of dollars, but it didn't. partly because the developer got way too greedy, and as soon as they launched the game with a bunch of DLC. People hated that. It launched the game with a bunch of merch. People hated that. And then the game itself lacked quite a lot of content. So yes, I definitely do not recommend you make support pack or DLC. Well, actually, support pack. If that one is literally just a support pack, that one okay. But making DLC with actual content, nope. People are likely not going to be happy with that. So no, that I would not recommend you do. Nope. Just make your game, make the best game that you can make, and that's basically it. Because otherwise, yep, it likely does not go well. Yeah. Same for you guys there. Yep, doing that a little bit. Yeah. Cup Bus had one map too. Yep. It is crazy how he definitely got overconfident. He launched a game with a very tiny amount of content, and he hoped that people would make the content for him, and it didn't quite work out. Yeah. Cute dog. Yeah, he is very cute. Okay, final one, and it's one that I can't read. Okay. Legend of the Sword is a casual survival game. Game players need to ensure their survival. The operation of the game is very simple. Clicking the left mouse button does something. Okay. Again, with, I'm guessing Chinese, maybe Japanese. No, I'm guessing it's more Chinese. Chinese game, it's very hard. But, yeah, $3. Okay, it's very cheap, but it looks like a very, very basic game. I have no idea if this name means anything in China. So yeah, I have no idea if this is part of like some kind of IP, something like that. But based on the quality of the game, it seems like a beginner game. So yeah, based on that, I would not assume too much. And it's like $3. So yeah, I'd highball it. Would you? On this one, I don't know, 400. That seems very unlikely. I don't know. Again, maybe this is somehow recognizable in China, but at least to me, I don't know if this is some kind of IP something. But it seems to be very, very basic. So based on that, yeah. What's like type of games that would be shockingly popular in Asian Twitch? Okay. Yeah, again, that's the thing that can kind of make this much, much harder. Be said about 3, but it seems more likely. Yeah, which one is more likely, 3 or 475? And out of those two, I would say 3. But at the same time, it's very cheap, $3. So 475 is not impossible. So yeah, if this one gets a bunch of content creators making videos about it, but it seems to be way too simple for someone to cover it. So yeah, I really think 3 is the more likely. And just static screenshots, no GIFs. So yeah, and apparently it's missing some text. So yeah. Okay, so this, yeah, I think 3 is the one that is most likely, but I could be wrong. Let's see. No, okay, I am actually correct on this one. Okay, there you go. So let's try the, oh, apparently I was the first one to try it out. Yeah, because apparently 0%. Nobody else voted on this one. Yeah, there you go. Okay, accuracy of 60%. Top 71% of 175 sandbox players. Okay, so I'm a little bit above the, oh no, I'm below. Oh, I'm the green one. Wait, how am I? Oh, never mind. Top 71%, which means, wait, does that mean I'm above 71% of players or above 29% of players? I think that means I'm above 29%. So so that's quite bad. Okay, that is apparently quite bad. So I'm 25 points below the median. Yeah. The first one that I completely missed, yeah, that one really screwed me. That one really messed me up. So yeah, apparently I'm only above a tiny 29%. So yeah, I guess this one did not quite went well. That's how it goes. Yeah, it's very hard to analyze everything. Oh boy. Okay, my voice messed up. How long have I been live? I've been live for almost 3 hours. Holy crap! Wow. Honestly, I'm impressed with my voice because previously I wasn't able to like live stream for more than like 1 hour without insane pain in my throat, where now apparently I can do for like 3 hours. I mean, now I'm in pain, but just a little bit. So yeah, I actually made it a little bit. Yeah. So, oh, okay. But yeah, definitely gotta rest a little bit, eat something. And he's also very stressed out, so he probably wants to have dinner as well. So yeah, I guess I won't do that. But yeah, this was fun. Review Guesser was fun. And the CoreCLR video. So yeah, after doing this research, yeah, I will be making a video on this one, which should hopefully be a nice explainer on what is CoreCLR, what are the benefits of CoreCLR, and so on. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna get going. I think I've got everything set up. Let me just check my. With that, still live, yeah, just leaving. Yeah, my voice already messed up, so yeah. Is Unity 7 out? Nope, it will hopefully be out by the end of this year. So yeah, that should be quite fun. Okay, yeah, let me prepare everything. Oh, let me actually try and see how does a raid work. I don't know. How do I pick a raid for someone who's okay? I'm trying to pick because I don't know anyone. So yeah, programming games in assembly for the Game Boy. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. So I guess I just pick this, check the preview, and then I do something. I guess that's it. All right, so yeah, I'm assuming that as soon as I raid, then it's going to kill the Twitch stream. So yeah, I guess I won't do that and then close the YouTube stream. Let me click the start raid button, try to see what does this one do. Oh, it says viewers ready to raid? What does that mean? Oh, ready to, oh, it takes, oh, and then they raid automatically. Okay, so I guess now when I press this button, something will happen. Okay, it's opening another tab, and that one is gone. And also the other one. Okay, so I think that worked out. All right. Yeah, and over here on YouTube, yep, it's all quite nice. So yeah, all of you, yeah, thanks so much for joining me over here on this live stream. It's always fun. So yeah, hope you found this interesting, entertaining, educational, and so on. So yeah, today's Tuesday. So go out, enjoy the rest of your week, your Tuesday, enjoy your Saturday, and so on. Make lots of progress on all your projects, and have fun building it. So yeah, there you go. Enjoy yourselves, and I will see you all next time. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. We shall see. But yeah, so yeah, bye everyone. Enjoy yourselves, and see you next time. Bye bye.